All right, I'm gonna go live, but we will start whenever we're good.
You know what's nervous right now? I'm nervous. I was doing some research.
Performance anxiety?
Yeah.
You were doing research.
I had to refresh myself. Who's Hagrid? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, I gotta review the notes. How many chapters are there in this one? 18. So we're gonna break it up into, we'll do like 5, 4, 4. But we'll go real quick, just a few like just general questions in each one. So hopefully we'll be on like 2 hours or something like that.
Sounds good,
If you guys have to leave at any time, feel free. I know, yeah. Eclipse break in an hour and 20 minutes. Is it live? Yeah.
Oh, it is live?
I was really hoping that I was going to go over at Mark and he was going to like harmonize it.
Yeah. I didn't know you started it yet. It's pretty good.
Keep going.
Yeah, we have a newborn in the stream now. I have to test the sound. Hold on.
I didn't know you started it yet. It's pretty good. Clean.
I was trying to make a career over here.
I know.
Me? Yeah.
Still want to get sponsored by whoever else.
Who was the last one? There's a socks? We were trying to get sponsored by socks.
I don't remember. But today I'm wearing Smart Wolf, so Smart Wolf, shout out. If you want to send me some socks, I will wear them every week on the podcast.
Okay, Eric.
Yes.
This is the best. I love having a newborn. Everyone has to just put up with any noises. She's so cute. Eric, before we jump into this series, or before we jump into the main questions about this book, just tell me your general thoughts and feelings on this book so far. How did you like it?
Thoughts and feelings. I love this book better than the first one.
Shocker.
Is that normal?
No. Yeah, I think they get better.
I think they get better.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But I think, like, what did you, Lizzie?
I don't know.
It's all blending together.
I think they just improved until...
We can't hear you. Please speak into the mic.
We're at 2 different heights here. We're going to fight this. I think it went 1, 2, 3, 4 originally.
Okay.
And then I, like, reevaluated that.
Yeah.
And then but still...
And then you're in 5 now,
it's
which is...
better,
Yeah. It'll probably change when you're finished with the whole series. If you ever reread it, it'll probably change a little bit. But I guess 2 is more of like a mystery, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But.
No, I love this book. I think it was really good. The plot was kind of similar to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like chapters where you'd read the end of it, and then I was kind of just like, all right, what's next? I had to like at least do like the first little bit before I could like move on to something else.
Yeah,
I had to hear what was going on because I didn't like how the chapter just ended, which I actually really liked at the same time because it made me want to keep going back. Yep. And then I did like the ending of this book more than the first one. A little bit more exciting, in my opinion. But
all right, good. Well, we'll get into it. But welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
I'm Eric.
I'm Mark.
We could just say it at the same time. I'm Liz.
And we have season 2, Lizzie.
You gotta keep it by you.
And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Oh wait, do I say it now?
No, you say it at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Say, where do we go? I say, thanks for joining us on this journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. We all go by and you go, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, seriously.
This is our new edition.
Yes. Cece.
Hi, Cece.
I want to know what...
It's her first time on the reading the series.
Not a fan of podcast.
Yeah.
We want to know what house you think she will be sorted into.
Ooh, Cece. What house is Cece gonna be sorted into?
Ooh, that's a good question. Based off looks, debatable.
I don't know. Is it generational? I would want to say yes.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Me and Liz are... Liz is Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Or Liz is Hufflepuff and I'm Ravenclaw. So she's the Huffleclaw.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's probably like a combo of
Hufflepuff.
something. She's so cute though.
She's a muggle.
So
Yeah, she might be. She might be
we'll have to find out.
a squib.
Don't
So how
Did you learn what a squib is in this chapter?
Squib?
Yeah. Do you know what a squib is yet? Or
Did
in this
we
book?
learn about what squibs are in this
Yeah,
book?
in this book.
In
Yeah.
this book?
I don't remember.
First introduction.
It's
I don't remember what a squib is.
It's towards
Filch is a squib.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Doesn't help me. It does not help me at all.
Filch is. Phil,
Barely.
it's like a
So if a muggle, right, is someone like Hermione is
yes.
muggle born, but she still has. There's another.
Oh,
weird-
Hermione's not a squib.
She's no.
She's
I'm saying
muggle
she's
born,
the
yeah, yeah.
opposite, right? So
Yeah.
she came from two muggle parents who have no powers.
Squib is
Whereas-
1 and 1.
Squib is 2 magical parents, and you come out and you don't have any magical powers.
Gotcha.
Lots
So we're
to learn.
all squibs here.
Yeah. No, we're all muggles.
No, I'm a squib.
Your parents are magical?
They are.
Um,
will pierce the sky.
All right, we're going to get into the first 5 chapters of this book, but let's do a very quick summary of chapter 1. Do you remember anything about, because you read the entirety of this book?
Yes, yeah, I finished it probably about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, so it's going to be a
So
little hazy on some
just
of the
give me.
details.
I will be a little bit hazy, so everyone bear with me. But what's the title of the
It's
chapter? 'Cause
The
that will
Worst
help.
Birthday.
Yes. Okay. So you want me to give you a summary?
Yeah.
All right,
These
so-
are going to be great.
Yeah.
I'll
So
cover these.
the summary. We have my boy HP.
Okay.
He is at home now. This is like because I just finished the first book. It's at the end of the school year, so now he's home, and it's his birthday. And from what I remember, obviously the Dursleys, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not treating him the best on his birthday. Kind of
Mhm.
like ignoring the fact that it's his birthday, and they're really not paying attention to anything at all. I'm trying to think there's anything that's like extra details in
No,
that because that's
that-
like the primary.
Yeah, that's like the beginning.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
reintroduces Harry, and then it
Yes.
just kind of gives you, like, they're ignoring him on his birthday.
So I read this on
Is
my
that legal?
Kindle. That's what I'm about to say. I read this on my Kindle. I did not read this. Also, just found out
Never
that
mind.
this is not the original copy because we lent our to Lizzie and her dog ate it, and so this is a. But wherever Lizzie got this from, apparently they were using it as a cheat sheet because every name is highlighted, but only like
What
up
the
to
heck?
like. Hang on, it's only like 4 pages in, and then they
Did
gave
you-
up.
That's the inside of your book. You gave me that. I did not mess with
okay,
the
okay,
inside.
okay, okay.
I switched the covers.
You just switched the covers.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
I was just trying to be
Misunderstood.
sneaky.
Wait, what do you mean? You, like, rebound the covers?
They lent me their book. I came home. The floor was covered in shreds of paper, and I was like, "What is this?" And then it was their
it's
Harry
just the
Potter
cover.
book. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
Gotcha.
like have a little piece of it taped to the cover of mine. Just like on the cover.
Just like the corner scene, right? The Harry Potter book, you can see the corner.
That's
But yeah,
great.
I was like, so I bought this from Thrift Books. Shout out Thrift Books, send me more books.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, I bought the whole series on Thrift Books. So previous owners, I don't know why all of it's all names, and then the only non-name is Privet Drive.
She really didn't know Privet Drive, I guess.
I'm just really Hogwarts is
You just places
What's
and
Hogwarts?
names.
Yeah, just kidding.
very very interested. But why then 5 pages in did they just stop?
Yeah, it's a great
Like
question.
halfway through the page.
I love getting like marginalia from other people's books like that and trying to figure out what their thought process was for something like that, where they just read the first 4 pages and they stopped reading. They're like, "Oh, this is boring."
So all right, I now know all the names, so I'm gonna stop. Also, apparently they started at book 2.
Yeah, but there's not a ton that happens in this chapter. It's just like his birthday happens, and that's like it. So, we were just talking about this, but you and your family are birthday people, right?
Yeah.
So, like, did this chapter offend you that Harry's not getting recognized on his birthday?
I don't know if it's like it offended me. It was more of just like. Sorry.
Right?
Yeah, I just had the door a little too hard.
You know, because you kind of see it in the first book of like how his birthday is like disregarded, so it's kind of just like a carryover of that.
Yeah.
So like I didn't expect anything to really be any different for this, for like Harry's birthday. I kind of expected it to be like, yeah, like it's just gonna be like ignored. But I don't think, did I take offense to it? No.
Okay, but in this chapter, has your opinion changed at all of the Dursleys or of Harry?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because again, I don't know if this is just me, but like starting off in the book 1 with like how the Dursleys treated him, I automatically just assume they're going to be just like that, if not worse.
Okay.
Like as the books and series continue. So I don't think my opinions of them have changed at all. I mean, they're still, I think, the same in my opinion. And then Harry, actually, I think, doesn't Harry get like a little bit feistier?
Mm-hmm.
He's a little
kind of a little fire under his
spice,
belly,
a little spice in there.
Yep.
Which I think is good. I think it's good to see Harry kind of. I think he's found his identity a little bit more in the first book, and now going into the second book, I think we see that as well, of how like he's able to now kind of take a little bit of the attitude that he and like confidence he brought home with him, and bring it into the start of book 2.
Yeah. So do you like him more as a character, or like how is your progression of Harry grown from the last book to this book?
I think I like him, at least from the chapter 1. I think I like him more now, because I think it makes it more interesting as the reader, because you're like, okay, now we get some, instead of somebody just taking the heat all the time, my man's ready to give it back a little bit, which I think makes it more interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion, though.
In chapter 2, because again, it's just the birthday chapter in chapter 1. Chapter 2 is Dobby's warning. What happens in this one? Do you remember?
You want me to explain?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I like that you're a little hazy on this, because it's going to make for really, really entertaining summaries.
Dobby. So Harry goes. I think he goes up to his room. Yeah. One night, and he sees this little character, kind of like Cece, but he had big green eyes, right? I think it was green eyes, and some pointy ears. Right? Okay, yeah. It was like a shadow or something, and Harry didn't know what it was, and all of a sudden it was like a little elf guy, a little Schmeagol looking guy. and then Harry kind of like talks to him, and like they're talking back and forth, and he's like warning Harry not to go back to school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect.
And that's like great. Yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, because Vernon is like about to have the deal of his life.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. What is it? Drills, right?
Yeah.
A drill deal.
Nice. Yeah. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
How
it's so funny that you remember the drill. I did not remember the drills part.
Really?
Yeah. But there's so many other things that are vivid to me in that chapter. But
what's vivid to you in this chapter?
It always gives me anxiety how loud they're being, because you know Uncle
wait, Harry and Dobby? Yeah, I can agree with that.
And just like I think I remember even the first time reading it being frustrated, just like the things that you find out that Dobby does. So like you don't really know if Dobby's a good character or a bad character, because he's doing all these things that you as the reader don't want Harry. You want Harry to go back to Hogwarts. You want him to get away from his family. Like, yeah.
What was your all of your guys' opinion of Dobby the first time you encountered him? Did you like him? Did you think he was annoying? Did you like him?
Mad annoying. I would have punted that thing. Sorry. I would have been scared too.
He's like, you can't go back to Hogwarts. And the book starts where Eric takes Dobby and punts him out the window.
He never received a letter from Hogwarts saying, yeah, I thought he was extremely annoying. Now, if you ask Liz, she will tell you that Dobby immediately was her favorite character.
Immediately?
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
You need to go do a baby swap and
listen here.
No. Well, we'll table this. I'll ask Liz this when she comes back. But I'm actually really curious about that.
Might be time for a baby swap anyway.
I've never heard that before. He was in this chapter. We also see him. That's where he's like stealing the letters, right?
Yeah.
Cause that's what it was. Harry's birthday. He wasn't getting he was upset. He wasn't getting like notes or anything from Ron or Hermione or anybody. And then it was Dobby.
Yeah, Dobby was stealing them. He had like a whole handful of them, a stack of them.
What a loser.
We'll talk about your
happy?
impression of him at the end, if you like him more or less. But we'll get there at the end. What do you think about his warning, though? Like, when we're talking about Dobby and he's telling Harry that he can't come back to school, why is he doing that?
Why is he telling him not to go back to school? Because he was getting some like information that he knew of like something bad was going to happen.
Okay.
And something bad was going to happen specifically to Harry, right? Or someone was trying to do something bad to Harry that would either kill Harry or hurt him. Because Dobby's a house elf, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they said something along the lines of like rich people usually have them, right? Or like wealthy people would usually have a house elf.
House elves, yeah.
So I think that's when, is it in this chapter? Maybe I'm jumping too far. But where like they suspect that it's Draco? Or is that the next chapter?
It's not. I don't think it's this chapter. But that's definitely their suspicion.
They do that, right? Like they think it's one of them or something like that.
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's like the next chapter. I think when they're on the train or when they're like, or not on the train, but when they're in the car, I think they're theorizing, and I think that they're thinking that it's connected with the Draco somehow. But that's like their connection with everything. It doesn't matter what happens. If something bad happens,
true.
they're always thinking that it's Draco. So it's like,
Can you blame them though?
Yeah, take a breather. Hold on. Someone whose mic isn't working on stream?
Hello?
Let me test this.
Hello? Hello from the other side.
Can you test that mic?
Hello. This is my mic.
Elizabeth, can you tap that one? Just tap it or
A little
speak
tappy
into it.
tap.
Hello.
I think all of them are working. Maybe this one's just low. Hold on. Hold the phone.
Does she be happy if I took her, or does she need?
We'll see. I'm seeing she's just eating right now. She's just being loud while she's eating. I think once she eats, she'll be okay.
Liz, can you talk into that mic one more time?
Hello.
All right, I think that's better. I think. We'll see.
I was right.
What?
Oh, I like Dobby from the beginning.
From the beginning? Really? Why?
I don't know. I might have known like of him just from like hearing people talk about Harry Potter.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think because he was like the first like creature that has a personality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In the series. And so I think I was like, I don't know, he didn't bother me. I think in the movies he bothered me more actually than in the book.
The movies he bothered you?
Mm-hmm. Like when he first was introduced, he bothered me in the movies. But yeah.
That's actually fascinating because most people, I think she writes him so that he's kind of annoying in this one.
I don't think he annoyed me, but it's also, this is my third time reading it, so I don't really remember.
Yeah.
I think the scene stressed me out.
Yeah.
That he was being so loud, but
I feel like up until this point, this is maybe one of the most stressful chapters of Harry Potter because he's up in his room and he's supposed to be quiet, and all of a sudden you get this real loud house elf that's like banging throughout the castle or the house.
Also, my boy's got some crazy anxiety.
Who?
Dobby.
What do you mean?
Doesn't he like punch himself in the head and stuff like that? Because he's like going crazy. Yeah. Man, you just gotta take a deep breath.
Okay, so what do you think about the ethics of house elves?
The ethics of house elves.
Deep questions right now.
Ooh.
Like, so do you think all house elves torture themselves if they're doing something outside of their master's command? Do you think that house elves should exist in the wizarding world?
Yes.
you would say that, Eric.
Why? If I was a wealthy wizard,
Oh my god.
I would want to have a little Dobby. Even though he might be annoying, I'd be like, yo, go get me some milk or like cookies or something. I mean, I probably could just be like, and make some, but
he's literally a Malfoy. Eric belongs in their family.
I think so. I think that'd be like, I understand. Like, actually, I don't understand. The more I think of it, Like, what's the point of having them? Right?
You what do you mean? What's the point of having
Like why would a wizard need a house elf?
why
If
would
a house elf is just gonna go against his master and go tell Harry.
well, that's why Dobby seems like an anomaly with house elves. So Dobby, so here's the question that I kind of had, because you finished the book again, so I'm gonna keep saying that a lot. But when the first time that I actually read this, I thought that Dobby was lying about going against his house, against his owners, and I thought that Dobby specifically, it was like a double play, like his owners told him, go to Harry Potter, tell him that we're lying about this, but try to prevent him from going to Hogwarts. So I thought he was still telling the truth, and he was like really acting within his nature.
Yeah.
Rather than at the end of the series, you just learn that Dobby is just or at the end of this book, you just learn that Dobby's an anomaly of a house elf. Do you think that all house elves have it in them to rebel like this?
I'd have to meet another house elf before I state my opinion.
Okay. Do you think we're gonna meet another house elf in this?
I hope we meet another house elf.
Yeah, you're a house elf fan now.
Well, I think it'd be
You just
great
want
to
one.
see the. Yeah, I do want one. I think it'd be great to see the differences, but
Okay, guys, if all of you guys had a house elf, what's the one thing that you'd want the house elf to do more than anything else?
Make his or her own decisions.
Wait. Wow. Okay. Coming out strong.
That's such a discussion squasher. Eric's like, okay, do my
Sorry.
dishes, vacuum, get my
Sorry.
groceries. Liz is like, freedom, decision
If
making.
they were working for me for wages and they had
I
the
love
choice
that.
to be there and I was housing them, but they also worked for me, like an au pair, you know?
Yeah.
I guess take care of my child.
I've always, I was thinking about this on the way here actually. Like, aren't house elves in some ways, I feel like with Dobby, I feel like he can do so much more than a lot of wizards and witches.
In terms of like power.
His magic, okay, yeah.
Like, his magic is just like, but I guess I shouldn't talk about that yet.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting question, Eric. What do you think of house elves' magic?
not needed.
Okay.
Is that
That's it. No, I don't. I think like to an extent they should have some, right? Because it's like, how would they get from from point A to point B? They're really tiny. They can't just walk.
Yeah.
You know? So I think there needs to be like some form of magic, but I don't think they need to have like, because like doesn't he like?
Eric's like, I don't think they need to have equal rights as wizards.
Yeah, they shouldn't, man. Because doesn't he like do like the Jello? He like makes the Jello crash.
Mhm.
Is that this chapter? Or is that
Yeah.
that is the chapter? So like, I just don't know if he's like a smart man with his.
He's not a man.
You're right. I shouldn't say man.
House elf.
Yeah. His.
Well, the real question is, what would you want your house elf to do if you had Dobby? What's the first task, or what's the first thing?
First task: landscape.
You don't like landscaping?
I love landscaping, but if it's something I didn't have to do, then
Yeah.
by all
We grew up in
means.
a house where
Landscape
that was like, we had to mow the lawn every week.
Yeah.
That was a thing to do.
Yep.
I mean, my laundry,
Yeah, kind of nice.
like the simple things that like I don't
Yeah.
really want to have to
You
do.
don't have to worry about the
Yeah,
errands.
fold
before,
my
yeah.
clothes, my laundry, go get gas in my car,
Just so everything's like done for you. Ooh, the gas one's a good one.
right?
Never have to go to a gas station again.
Food shopping.
Food shopping, that's a good one.
Cooking.
I actually kind of like the act of food shopping. I don't know, it's like cathartic for me. Just pop in some headphones and just like walk throughout the grocery
My hot
store.
take is that grocery stores are highways for old people. Just waiting to get accidents.
Highways for old people. Wow.
Lizzie, what would you want your house elf to do? I think Lizzie's
Well, this
very
is also
opposed to
this
having
is
a house elf.
also assuming that we have power. So like, if you have power, do you
Yeah.
need to landscape? Can you just
That's right,
like
that's why
do
I
a
was-
spell to cut your grass?
Right,
Yeah.
and that's why part of me is like, is a house elf even like necessary?
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, sorry, Lizzie.
For
go
sure,
ahead.
that does affect your answer.
You know,
So-
maybe I don't know enough about house elves, but
You kind of see this in the next chapter. So the next chapter is the Burrow, and Mrs. Weasley is still like in the kitchen doing some of the act of cooking, and she's like, chopping up some vegetables and stuff like that, or like having magic, but she still is there waving her wand. And it's like, if you're a chef, you have to do these things. If you have a house elf, you don't even have to worry about going into the kitchen.
right.
So it's like, it's not just going to be a solve for everything that you need, magic. So like, you still could use a house elf,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But maybe there's really a spell that's like, wash all my, cars and
Mhm.
vacuum. I don't know if they know that spell yet.
What would you say?
Yeah.
Wash all my cars. I would make it like drive me places, I think.
A chauffeur, really?
Yeah. Or just run my errands for me. I hate like doing little trips back and forth.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I would love like the small errands, but yeah. I don't know. I would be fighting for its equality in the Wizarding World.
Yeah.
And you, Liz.
House elves are people too.
Eric's like, give me all the house elves. I'll put them to work.
Yeah.
No wages.
If he
Do my
doesn't kick it
taxes.
out the window first.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, Eric just said do my taxes, and if I had a house elf, the only thing. Give me an accountant as a house elf.
Yeah.
Give me the
Get me
nerdiest
that
house elf.
CPA.
You can get. Yeah. Give me a CPA, and we're set. Oh, please. A house elf who can do your investing for you.
That's different.
Manages your portfolio.
That's different.
Yeah. Those are goblins. So the whole escapade goes down, and Vernon is furious because he kind of loses out in the deal, but Dobby just disappears after that, and then they lock him in his room. And then the next chapter is the Burrow.
Big fan of this chapter.
Good chapter?
Yeah.
What happens in this chapter?
So I really like how the Weasleys come in clutch for Harry.
Yeah.
And they so Harry's locked in his room, and he's got the bars over his window because he's not allowed to use magic outside of Hogwarts, so they locked him up. And then we see the Weasleys roll up in their Rolls Royce of cars.
It's a Ford Angelina, but
That thing
also
flies.
maybe a Rolls Royce.
It flies. So they roll up, and Harry thinks he's dreaming of hearing somebody tap on his bars, and he wakes up, and there's Big Ron, and he Harry tells him like what's going on, and asks him like why he hasn't been, like he knows like he's been sending letters, but he hasn't been getting them because of this elf thing. Basically explaining everything, and then they rescue Harry from the Dursleys.
Beautiful. And they go to the Burrow. The Burrow's great. What do you think about how do you like the Burrow? Because you just kind of said you like this chapter.
Well, I'm not a big fan of messy homes, and I'm pretty sure it talks a little bit about how like it's a little disheveled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so other than that, I love the family dynamic of the Weasleys.
Yeah. Who's
I
your
almost
favorite
said
Weasley?
The Wesleys.
The Wesleys, yeah.
Yeah. Well, who's my favorite Weasley?
Yeah.
Definitely Ron.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You like Ron?
I think Ron's hilarious. He might be my favorite character in the book.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. That's kind of
Yeah.
a shocker.
Ron's so funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Liz, who's your favorite character in the entire series?
Well, I feel like I can't say.
Yeah.
Voldemort.
Yeah, because he turns out to be good in the end. I feel like I can't say because I feel like it'll give something away.
Okay.
But it's between two characters.
Give me the first letter of their name.
S for the one.
Snape.
No, it's not Snape.
Yeah.
Although, well, and then the other
Complicated
is L.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured it was going to be that
Yeah. But out of the Weasleys, I like Mrs. Weasley the best. She's my favorite.
one. Oh, she's great.
She's great.
She is great. I didn't think of that. I just immediately thought of the boys.
Her, we'll go through this when we go through the series, but like her whole backstory and just like it's small little smatterings of her backstory throughout this entire book or this series, and it is so compelling. It is so good. It makes her so much more relatable and understanding of a character and like why she has her fears and like what her motivation is. But I love Mrs. Weasley. Whenever I reread this series, it actually really reminds me of your mom. Like
You know
for
what's
some
so
reason.
funny is it reminds me of Danny's mom.
Yeah, 100%.
Like their family
Yes.
dynamic reminds me of
The
their
Weasleys.
family.
Yeah. I'm
It's
actually
so
kind of
funny
with you
though,
on
but I
that.
could kind of see
Interesting.
Like
your mom
because
too.
your mom is very protective. She loves like she always you guys are always doing family things together. It's like all the chickens are in like the coop and like she's kind of keeping you all together.
Yeah, it's
And
accurate.
also
And
how
Mrs.
she
Weasley
kind of
feels
like
like that.
reprimands you guys, but it's in
Yeah.
a very like loving
It's
way.
very
It's not like
loving.
she's
Yeah.
actually mad. She's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, come on, Eric.
Yeah.
Be better.
I could see, yeah, be better.
Lizzie, who's your favorite in the entire series so far?
So far in book 2.
No, because you're in book
Am
5.
I allowed to say?
What does it start with? If a person not been
You
introduced?
know who this is.
Yeah.
Should I say it?
Yeah.
I like this guy, Sirius Black.
Yeah.
Or the twins.
Okay.
So Sirius Black
surprised
is my
you don't
favorite.
like
Okay, I was like,
The
why
twins,
did
as
Yeah.
in, like the Weasley twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric's gonna forget about any of these characters anyway.
Yeah,
so when we get to
that's
the
true.
other books, you're gonna be like,
That's
who?
true.
What?
Say?
I'm saying you have a bad
That's
memory.
accurate.
Yeah.
Question: did Sirius Black look like how you thought? Wait, did you see the movies?
No, but I know what he looks like in the movies.
Did he? No,
No,
right?
no,
Okay,
not
I
at
thought they
all.
did a bad
Yeah.
job with him.
Yeah. Although I love him as an actor, but I think
He
yeah.
did a good job. I just
Yeah.
don't think he looked.
What
I
who is
like
Mark's?
Who's Mark's favorite character? Mark, who's your favorite character in the books?
Ron.
I think I would have. I don't think it's Ron though. I don't know. No, Lizzie guessed Ron. Lizzie guessed Ron.
I
Fred
can
and
see
George.
that, yeah.
Yes, he has told me that before. I forgot.
Yeah, I did grow a lot of respect for Mr. Weasley though.
Why?
I don't think I can mention it yet. It's in chapters to come.
Okay.
Unless you want me to mention
He's
it.
gonna give it away for us.
Yeah. Everyone. I mean, yeah. You can kind of give it away.
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
When he goes and fights
Yeah.
Mr. Malfoy.
Mhm. It's a great moment.
It is a great moment.
Yeah. Fist fight. It's like a
Mhm.
punches him in the nose. It's great.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole heist to get Harry out of the Burrow or out of Privet Drive?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I like reading again something like that, where like the action is like, I was stressed. I hate the thought again, like I kind of mentioned in like the first couple chapters of where there's just like a lot of like they're loud and things like that. So like that's all that was going through my head is like they're gonna get caught, like he's gonna have to stay. Because again, I have never read the book, so it's
Yeah.
like I don't remember what happened. I don't know if he got caught or not. So like the whole time I was kind of just like on the edge of my seat, like waiting for them to get caught, and they almost did.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great. I love the fact that they went and tried to just even check on him and then see him and then try and get him out. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was good. What is your favorite? You kind of mentioned this before, but like with everything in the Burrow and like even the Weasleys, what is your favorite aspect of that whole thing? You said like the family environment, but what do you mean?
I just like how, I guess, kind of like what you and Liz had said of like, it did kind of remind me of like my family, like the dynamics of how like Mrs. Weasley is kind of just like trying to take care of everybody. And I also, it reminds me too of like when we had friends over as kids, and like if the friend did something, we would be the ones that got in trouble. And then she wouldn't, or my parents wouldn't get upset at the friend. It was
of
always
course.
us. So like I could kind of see that too with like how like the Weasleys were always getting in trouble when sometimes it was like Harry. But you know, I think that was it. It just kind of reminded me more of like how my family was. So
They're
it was just
very
it was like
relatable
easy to
family.
relate.
Yeah.
It was easy to relate to it.
Yeah, they really are a really relatable family. That's like even the line. That's why I love Mr. Weasley. He's maybe my favorite Weasley so far, because he has the one line where Mrs. Weasley says, "Your sons flew that car to Harry's house and back last night," shouted Mrs. Weasley. "What have you got to say about that, eh?" "Did you really?" said Mr. Weasley eagerly. "Did it go all right?" I mean, he faltered as sparks flew from Mrs. Weasley's eyes. "That was very wrong, boys. Very wrong indeed." I love him. He's like a great character. For
Yeah.
that. But yeah, they're
That is like your dad too.
Yeah.
He'd be like on your side, but then pretend like he was like on the
Yeah.
same side as your mom.
Yeah. It's so funny.
And I feel like their house isn't necessarily, I don't know, I don't really picture it as not clean. I just picture it as like a little chaotic. Like just a full
Their
house. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was telling you like it would stress me out.
Really?
Yeah. Like growing up with Mark. I don't know if they do the viewers know that Mark and I are brothers?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, do they?
I
Okay.
think.
Well, if you guys don't know, you know now. But growing up with Mark, we were saying like it was just a very messy room, and it was like it didn't like stress me out, but every time I walked in the room, I was like man, like I feel dirty. Like, yeah. So
It's just
Yeah.
one of those households that you imagine like every time you walk in the door, Mrs. Weasley just has like food ready
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Like she makes you a meal as soon as you walk
Yep.
in.
mhm,
She's shoving food in your mouth.
mhm,
It's great.
for sure.
Let's talk about the next chapter, because the next chapter is when the fight happens. It's at Flourish and Blots. So can you give me a quick summary of this chapter?
Yeah. From the Burrow, it's time to go and get some supplies, right, for the
Mhm.
school year.
Yeah.
And our boy HP jumps into the fire. and he's choking and coughing and can't say the right thing. Well,
Yeah.
I think he did say the right thing, but the chimney heard the wrong thing. And he got sent. I don't know the name of the place he got sent.
Nocturne Alley.
Yes, yeah. And he like jumps into a closet because he saw the Malfoys come in and overheard a conversation. And then our boy Hagrid saved the day and brought him over to...
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of that?
Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley, yeah. And I can picture all the places in my head. I just can't remember the names.
Just think of it this way: Nocturnally, Nocturne Alley is nocturnally. It's dark, and Diagon Alley is just slanted diagonally.
Ah, look at that. Interesting. Is that like a fact, or did you just know
I
that?
think she named it that because one is nocturnal and one is like all slanted. Diagon Alley is like.
If she did, very impressive.
She's back.
And then they kind of got like reunited with the Weasleys, and then Hermione came, and they were getting like their school supplies, and then that fist fight.
Yeah.
And that was really, I think, in that chapter.
Was the fist fight your favorite part of this chapter?
It was, yeah. Yeah. 'Cause the chapter was a little bit slow,
Yeah.
and then I also thought like the part of like where he's overhearing the Malfoys, Draco, and his dad talk, I think was an interesting conversation, and then also like the fight was good.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because didn't he tell Draco to like stop talking about Harry like in a bad way because everyone knows who Harry is type of thing? But then like the next scene of that chapter he's fighting.
Yeah.
So it's like I was like, okay, maybe Draco's dad had like a little bit more like wisdom and like patience, and then also my man's fighting. So it's like I don't know.
That's a great catch because I feel like it's he doesn't have a ton more wisdom than his son. He just wants his son to not do certain things just to have power over his son, I guess. And then he does the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It's a great observation of
Yeah.
like character study.
That's
of
why I was
who Lucius
little
Malfoy
thrown.
is.
But yeah.
I think we asked this in the last one, but what out of all the shops in Diagon Alley, which one would you want to go to?
I don't remember what I said, but I want to say I said the wand one.
Yeah, Ollivanders.
Yeah, because
I
think it'd be cool to see like which one would pick me because it's specific to like my person.
Yeah.
I think is what I would say. I don't remember if that's what I said, but I think so.
I feel like I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
How about this one? Out of all these books, which one would you want to read? Break with the Banshee, Gadding with Ghouls, Holidays with Hags, Travels with Trolls, Voyages with Vampires, Wanderings with Werewolves, or Year with the Yeti? Which one would you want to read?
You know which one you would say?
I know what she would say.
I also know who all these books are freaking from.
Same.
Oh, hello.
I think so. I think yeah. Either what was the first one
Break with a Banshee,
and the second one?
Gadding with Ghouls, Holidays with Hags, Travels with Trolls, Voyages with Vampires.
I think it'd be between Holidays with Hags and the Traveling with Trolls.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unexpected.
Yeah.
Why?
I think I want to be kind of like Holidays with Hags. Like it just sounds kind of cool. and I like. Why is that funny?
It's funny.
And I like holidays, so. And then the Traveling with the Trolls I think would be cool because we get introduced to the trolls in book 1.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool to like if it genuinely means traveling with the trolls, like it'd be kind of cool to learn about traveling with trolls.
So what do you think about the guy who's writing all these books? So you again obviously know the end of the story, but Gilderoy Lockhart. What was your first impression of Gilderoy Lockhart? And for you guys too, what do you guys think of him?
Oh, he was a sleazeball like the moment
Yeah.
he entered the scene.
He's a hard number 2 for least favorite person.
I don't
Interesting.
think he's number one.
But yeah, but in contention with number 1, who I can't talk about yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Actually, there's no contention. He is number 2.
Yeah.
My number 1 will always be number 1.
Yeah. Number ones is usually always everyone's number one.
Voldemort.
No.
Nope.
No.
I actually like
If someone
Voldemort.
works,
I like Voldemort.
I would prefer Voldemort. to this
Voldemort is
character.
probably more likable than Lockhart as well. He's probably a good.
At least he has a sense of humor.
there's actually somebody that I don't like in this book, but we can get to that when we get there.
Ooh.
But
Curious.
but Lockhart, yeah, I didn't really like
Okay.
him. He was like kind of like annoying, full of himself.
Did any part of you think that he was actually legit in like doing all the things that he was doing?
Yeah, I mean, at first, because you see all the books he's published, and you see
Yeah.
how he's like a big public figure, and all these people have like little mini crushes on him. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, he's like a well-known, legit guy. But as like time goes on, it's like, okay, but yeah.
Why? Actually, I'm gonna ask this question in the next section. And I feel like this is gonna be a fun discussion point. One thing that comes up in this chapter all the time is that Harry is very rich and the Weasleys aren't. At all.
You go ahead.
What are your thoughts on that? You seem like you had an immediate thoughts on that.
Well, because I saw the one question that you had,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, I was like, what would I don't know what I would do, because right, the Weasleys maybe don't have a lot of money, and Harry does,
Yeah.
but Harry also has a lifetime ahead of him that like he needs the money for.
Yeah.
So at the same time, like I don't know, if I was in Harry Potter's shoes, do I think I'd like just drop a bunch of cash? I don't know. I think maybe I'd help like a little bit, like here, like or like they wanted to go like get snacks or something. I'd be like, I'll pay for snacks. Yeah. But I don't know. At his age, again, we gotta remember like they're still young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if I was that old, I'd be like, yeah, here's money. you
That's
know?
why Harry needs a house elf to be his accountant for him.
That's what I'm
Deals all his
saying.
money.
That's what I'm saying.
You're kind of nailing it on that part.
So yeah, that's the only reason why. Because I'm like, okay, he does have like a lifetime. Now, granted, I don't know what his future would be in terms of work, money, that whatnot. But like, as at this age, he's probably not thinking of that at all.
Yeah, for sure.
You think Harry's parents had like life insurance?
That's a great question. Does wizard life insurance?
Although I guess,
exist?
like,
Yeah, what were their
that is
professions that they had so much
the
money?
money they left to him like was his life insurance, or like their it was their like
It isn't
the
nowhere.
life insurance like outside of the wizard world. Like they still were just like parents.
That's a great
that
question.
died.
Even for you, Eric, how old were Harry's parents when they died?
I don't remember. I'll be
Take a
honest with you.
guess.
Wait,
Because I don't think we talked about this before. I don't even know if you guys remember.
I was gonna ask, do we actually know, or is it?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say like in their 30s.
Okay.
30s.
Oh wait, no, because he was a baby.
Snap.
Late 20s.
I mean, we're in our 30s.
I mean,
You actually might be right.
I think late 20s,
No.
early 30s.
Oh, that's right, because he is introduced as just a baby. Yeah, I gotta remember that.
I guess they were teenagers.
They-
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
They were 20 and 21.
Dang.
Wow.
I was
They
gonna say
do
young
not
20s.
represent that well in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
When did they say
They look
that?
like 45
Yeah.
years old in the movies.
Where does it say that?
It doesn't say that yet, but at the
do
beginning,
math.
it says they were just kind of at a school when Voldemort came for Harry's parents and tried to kill them.
So
So
they got
then-
married young.
Yeah, they got married really young, and where's this money from? It's a
That's
weird
what I was just
question.
gonna ask. 'Cause you just asked that, right?
Yeah, well, I want to know what their professions were.
Yeah,
They just finished school. They came from money. Old
yeah.
money.
It's definitely that they came from some
Yeah,
kind of
it
money.
could've
It might honestly, yeah, because they probably were in their professions for a long time, and yeah, we'll talk about what their professions were a little bit later. There's conjecture on that.
do we? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like whoever. Well, we know who killed them, but why did he not take their money too? If I killed somebody,
Because
I'd
it was
take all
in
the money.
Gringotts. It was in Gringotts.
Yeah.
It was all in Bitcoin.
I love
Yeah.
this is making so much sense to me that Ron is your favorite character because Ron hates being not that you're poor, but Ron hates being poor and all he really thinks about is money. So Eric's like, I would kill these people and just take their money.
just
Voldemort's
gonna, like-
killing people because he's a sociopath and because he just wants to kill people.
Right. That's what it's like.
And
there's-
Eric's like, there's a whole heap of cash right there. Take the cash and
There's got to be a motive. There's got to be.
go. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. What do you think his motive was?
I don't know. Voldemort, you said it's a sociopath, but for me, it'd be the money.
Well, at least we know if Eric goes rogue as a wizard. He's going for the house elves first.
Okay, and then chapter 5 is the Weeping Willow. Can you give me a quick summary of that chapter?
Yeah. Harry and Ron missed the train
Mm-hmm.
to go back to school. So instead of waiting for the next one, they jumped in the Bentley.
Mm-hmm.
and flew it on up to Hogwarts. And as on the way there, kind of like ran out of gas and crashed into the Weeping Willow tree. And they got stuck in there for a little bit. And
Yeah.
then
They got whomped.
they got whomped, yeah.
And then they got whomped by McGonagall.
Yeah, and then they got in trouble at school
Mhm.
and got detentions for it.
Did you catch in this chapter Ginny's diary? And she goes, the whole family goes back for Ginny's diary because they're in the cars. They leave, they come back for something like Fred needed. They leave, they
think I
come back.
noticed
They
that.
needed something
No.
for like Percy, and then they leave. And then Ginny freaks out because they are leaving without her diary, and she needs her diary. And the diary is the diary that Malfoy snuck in her little thing. So she's been writing in that already.
Wait, what do you mean she's been writing? So
she's been writing in this blank diary, the diary of Tom Riddle,
before
this
she
point.
even got to the school.
before she got to school. Yeah.
So how'd
Yeah,
she get it
didn't-
before that?
Didn't they say she was doing it for like a year? She was writing
Yeah.
in it.
Wait. So,
What? So the movies actually portray this somewhat well. In the scuffle, essentially they slipped the book into Ginny's cauldron, which is like another book that she had with all her other books. So when they did that, Ginny, at the moment that this fight happened, Ginny had the diary, Tom Riddle's diary. And so when she went home, she's like, oh, I had to have a diary. I'm just going to start writing in this.
So the Malfoy slipped it in,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, dog.
and it
Yeah.
says that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
that's
the end.
really
Where did
sneakily.
where did I miss that? That's
Yeah.
a big piece of information.
That's why she's a master at slipping things in with one or two lines here or there.
Ginny.
No.
J.K. Rowling.
Oh. I was like, who are you talking about? Okay, yeah.
She's really good. She has a lot of just one-off lines that she just throws in there that will go completely over your head, and I'll point them out because they're great.
Yeah.
And it even connects throughout all the books, like not
Yep.
just like one within a book.
Yeah.
Like I'm convinced there are things in this book that she knew what she was doing for like
Definitely.
the 7th book.
100%.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
I know.
That's good. Yeah, she's good.
So get ready.
She got me on that
You're
one.
in for a treat. Do you think that Ron and Harry are just dumb for not waiting? Like after they couldn't get through the
No shot.
to the platform.
Mm-mm.
You don't think they're dumb?
For not waiting for the next
'Cause
train.
Eric is
No.
wrong.
No, not waiting for the next train. Waiting for Ron's parents to come back through the barrier, and say, "Oh, so you didn't get through the barrier? Let's,
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant not waiting for like another train. Yeah, no. I think they're dumb for not waiting for
Okay.
their parents. Yeah.
Would you have done the same thing that they did?
If
Like
he was
we-
with Mark, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. If they were together, they
Mark would have
done
been
that.
pumped,
Yeah.
pumped that they didn't catch the trains. Mark is like, "Let's go. We're taking it for Angelina."
Let's be real. You love Ron because he reminds you of your brother.
Yeah,
It's the red beard for me.
that's cute.
I didn't know Ron had a red beard.
Oh, red hair. Red hair. But
Ron is in 7th grade right now. with a full beard.
that's the bootleg.
We find out
version.
Eric's been picturing Ron with a full beard this entire time. It's like a 45-year-old man.
What was your question? What did you ask?
Would you have done
Yeah,
it?
would you have done it? The same thing that they did.
I think I would have personally waited for my parents to come back,
Yeah.
but if I didn't, I wouldn't.
100%.
Yeah, Mark 100% would have done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think if you were with him, he would have convinced you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If I
100%.
was with Mark, for sure. But I also think like, knowing me too, like I would want to be there for the first day of like school.
Yeah, that's
True.
So like I
he's
would
not
have
there
gone.
for the feast, for the sorting ceremony.
Like
He's
I would have been
stressed.
hyped for the sorting ceremony. I think
Yeah.
that would have been so much fun to be a part of every year. So
Yeah.
like I would have done anything to get there for that.
Mhm.
You know. So I
So
think,
you
yeah.
would have preferred taking the train rather than the Fort Angelina. Like if you had an option.
I take the car.
Really?
Fly in a car?
But it's a cool train. I would 100% take the train every day.
I don't know.
Really?
I
I don't
You would have
know.
gotten really car sick.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I need the train. I just want to
He
know.
would have had to
Like,
drive.
I want to know if there are any wizards and witches that suffer from motion sickness. Because there's so many things that like if you get seasick or motion sick or whatever, like you're donezo, man. Flying cars, brooms, so many things that would just make you throw up. Was there a
Mark's
kid perpetually vomiting all year long?
That was Mark.
It was. Mark always threw up in the car as a kid.
Liz would know. She's my sister.
Crazy.
Crazy. Before, when Eric was saying that you guys were brothers, I was gonna be like, yeah, and me and Eric are married. Anybody?
We could really throw people off right now.
my
What's the
sister.
relation?
We really could just switch everything up.
daughter.
Yeah,
Here.
every
It's our,
podcast.
it's our daughter. Our daughters.
Yeah.
Don't they look alike?
Honestly, out of everyone here, she probably looks
I
most like
really, honestly.
Okay. Anything else within these chapters that you guys want to talk about? There's some more interesting questions that come up later, but
No, I think this is the chapter where Ron breaks his wand.
Mm.
That, for some reason, throughout the entirety of the book, is just a perpetual annoyance to me.
Yes,
It's
agreed.
man.
Again, couldn't Harry have just gotten him a new wand?
Yep.
Or like there are little things. Even
Sure,
though he's a kid.
not even that though. Like it's,
Even though he's a
I
kid.
get that Harry has all his money, but at the end of the day, like Ron tell someone that your wand could potentially
Although
kill
it
someone.
ends up
Yeah.
saving them in the end. So
It's kind of true.
Sure, great. Still, they're in class trying to like Leviosa, like he'll, you know.
Things are blowing up. Yeah.
There you go, Harry. Gone. See ya.
That kind of stuff bothers me too. There's moments in like all these books that there's like lingering things, and I'm not like a crazy neat person, but I like tidiness.
Mm-hmm.
And the untidiness of some of these books, like Ron's wand not working. I'm like, Ron is just working with like a taped wand the entire book. I'm like,
also, if Hermione can fix Harry's glasses, can't she fix Ron's? Like, is it not the same spell because it's a wand?
That's the thing.
Can you mend a
When
broken
wands break,
Wando Reparo.
at least
that's a spell.
yeah. I don't know. I think that there is something special to wands where you can't repair them the same way.
Yeah. 100%. You can't repair wands the same way that you can repair a lot of other things, but because it's such a magically potent
But
object.
better than like tape. Like,
Yeah.
even if it was just
Yeah.
like
There were definitely better options.
as a wizard,
Yeah.
I feel like there's better
You
options.
take it to like a carpenter, like joinery and
Yeah.
carpentry, like wood glue.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
gonna do a
True, yeah.
ton of work there. You're good. Okay, really quick, give me your favorite character and your favorite moment, if you remember, in these 5 chapters.
Favorite character, Ron Weasley.
Okay.
And favorite moment, I would probably have to say when the Weasleys come get Harry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite.
What about you guys?
I'd say favorite character is probably Mrs. Weasley, and then favorite moment is just like walking into the Weasley household. I love that moment in the
Yeah.
movies and the books. I love that moment.
Yeah. I would say Mr. and I would say my favorite moment is the same. Like
Yeah.
when Harry walks in, he's like the whole house is like held up by magic. It's just like organized chaos all throughout the place. I love it.
I think because I'm the same as Eric. I like things very like neat and orderly, but the house just feels like cozy and
Yeah.
inviting to me. Like I want to like
Yeah.
spend vacations there. You know?
Yes. That would be the biggest Airbnb. Someone needs to
Right?
like make an Airbnb on the middle of like the English countryside like that.
Crazy.
Favorite character, Mr. Weasley, for getting it
A
done,
little fight.
doing what he needed to do, protecting his
Scrappy.
family.
Scrappy guy.
Favorite moment. Probably it's tough. I feel like there's a lot of things happen, but I also feel like so much is to come, so it's like hard to probably the fight.
Yeah, that fight's a good one.
Yeah, just because there's just like sense of like you can see there's obviously not justice has not been served, but like you can see Mr. Weasley standing up for his family, and then all of his kids are like 100% behind him.
Yep.
So they're all like Fred and George and Ron are all fired up and ready to go. I love that.
Yeah, there's something I love too, but they can do magic, but they still choose to fist fight in this moment.
Yeah.
I think that confuses me is like in the books, like when magic is used and when it's not.
Yeah.
Like there are just certain things I'm like, there's so many like random things you can use magic for
Yeah.
and you couldn't use magic for that. I don't
Yeah.
get it.
For that one, for like the fight, I love it because there's something so like physical about a fight. Like for Mr. Weasley, he can definitely use magic to like, stop this, but it's offended him so much that he's like, my own fists. I need to get like real personal on this and start beating him.
So good.
I don't know. I kind of like it. Lizzie, you want to chime in? Your favorite character, favorite moment?
This is my least favorite part of the podcast.
What, talking?
Picking my specific little answers. Favorite characters. I'll probably say Ron in this part too.
Yeah.
Favorite moment. I don't know. It's been a while since I read this. I think just the excitement of like going to Hogwarts and like getting on the train.
Yeah.
That whole thing is really exciting. And like Harry's first interaction with wizards, like that's cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is my favorite too. Like entering into the wizarding world. It's great. The train. I love the train chapters.
I will say I feel like I can, when they run and hit the wall and then they don't get through and they hit their carts, I feel like I have felt that pain. And maybe this is just a weird thing I've done, but I know there are other people out there who have felt this. But have you ever, when you're shoveling snow and you put you put the shovel against your stomach and you walk with like no hands, and then it catches something and it just like is a gut punch?
So accurate.
That is what I imagine.
Great analogy. Wow. That's a fantastic analogy. I love that. Well,
Pretty good.
thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Thanks.
We're all waiting for that. Perfect. All right, we'll take a breather and we'll do 5 more. And then we can do a quick Eclipse check.
Oh yeah.
Because it should be happening right now.
Well,
Right. Oh, it's starting. Right?
Part of it, yeah. Part of it should be covered.
Don't get those close.
what's happening?
Where's the sun? Where's the sun?
My watch is all over the place. So my watch tells me what music I'm listening to, like when I'm on runs. It lost connection today on the run. So all of a sudden, when it lost connection with my phone, it was like telling me I was at 10 miles when I was at like 9.5. It was all over the place. Now it's telling me I have an app called White Noise, and I play the Shush White Noise. It tells me that the artist is called The Devil Wears Prada, which is what I was listening to on the run.
The Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah.
That's what you're listening to?
Not the movie,
No, I know.
the band.
Yeah.
They're on my playlist.
Listening to the soundtrack of Devil's Wears Prada.
Yeah. Want to hand me? I don't know why I started talking into the mic. I was going to give me a biscuity.
Oh.
Is she
Biscuity?
being fussy? Is she gonna calm down if I take her? Or
I don't know. Maybe.
Seeing it?
You,
You just go
no,
look?
what
It
did it
is
look like?
so paranormal when you look out there and you see there's
Really?
it's like a little bite out of a cookie right now.
I wanna go see.
Go check it out. It's like it's like an eclipse. You know what an eclipse is, but until you like, it's weird. It's
Really?
so bizarre.
You can see it.
Yeah, it's starting. It's like a bite out of a cookie right now.
You're a bite out of a cookie.
I'll come back.
Eric, we're still alive. You can't let people know how weird you are. Toss me a biscotti. Biscotti. I was talking to people about one of my biggest pet peeves the other day, and it's when people like they'll be just talking in a normal like American accent, and all of a sudden they'll be like, "Hey, can you pass me like the biscotti, please?" Or like, "I'm gonna like let's make some spaghetti." I'm like, no, just say it normally.
We do that all the time now.
Like, oh, let's go to the bakery and get a croissant. I'm like, dude, stop.
That's actually such a good one.
Kara Spaulding's going away party yesterday. He didn't want to have a going away party.
Wait, he's going away?
Moving to Florida.
Care?
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah, he leaves Sunday.
Wow.
So he didn't want to have a party. His aunt made him. So it's all family. Me, Chris, Mike, and John Paul.
What? What's he
He looked
moving for?
at me and he's like, bro, just call whoever you want and invite him. And I'm like, we're already 2 hours deep into this party.
That's wild. Is he moving out there for work?
And his girlfriend lives down there. Who was met on FaceTime.
What happened? Oh yeah, I met her on FaceTime.
She's a real master over here.
Master?
Visual master.
So good.
Yeah.
She's so cute. Little bean.
I thought you were talking about the Scotties.
These guys too.
So when is the peak of this?
I thought it was like. I think it's gonna be a while. Yeah, like 45 minutes or something.
I think it's New York.
Middle of the podcast, just gotta yell, Eclipse!
I know.
And run out. We all
I know.
run out.
Literally, that's what it's gonna be.
Is it gonna be dark out?
I think it's gonna get partially dark. I don't think it's gonna get fully. Like I remember last time we had like 75% coverage, and it just looked hazy kind of. So I think we're gonna get like a middle of that, like
Yeah.
kind of darkish.
Do it. Do it now. Do it now. Go to sleep now.
Eclipse tracker.
Yeah.
You're like asleep. I know, yeah. Yeah, I know. I kind of forgot about that, yeah.
But Lupin, like, I remember at one point thinking, like, oh, like, maybe he's not good. So, like,
Yeah,
him
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like.
That's why it fluctuates so much in these books from like who you think is a good character or not. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, I like Snape.
Yeah, same.
I think, like, his character is probably the most interesting.
Agreed.
I said,
Complex of all
for
I kind
L,
of fully
it's
agree.
I was yelling from the room over here.
You what?
I was
characters.
like,
For L.
and she said L, and I said, Lucius! I
I didn't hear you. That's great. Weird.
You see the puppy?
Yeah, so Sam and Mara will be here with the kids next Tuesday.
Nice. I gotta swing by.
Yeah, I'll text you.
Are they be here for the whole day?
I don't know how long they're
To be
staying.
honest, I have no idea what they're doing.
They're staying over Monday night, but they're getting home, like, really late.
Really?
I'm picking them up. Their flight lands at 10.
We're assuming they'll at least be here for breakfast.
Okay.
Maybe lunch.
Wes.
Get a picture. No, we don't care. It's cute. You get it?
Yeah, I did.
You're so gentle with the baby.
You're a good boy, Wes. That's a great picture. New profile picture.
I want to see your reaction. That's actually so cool.
That's a great picture, actually.
John, you gotta meet Eric's girlfriend. You'd really like
I know, literally.
You have to get her on the podcast.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Get
If
on the
we
pod.
did it, like, later on a Monday, could she come? She's not doing worship that week.
Maybe.
Eric, you want to toss me another pretzel?
We gotta get her on.
pretzels-
I guess
Are-
she came straight from.
The pretzels are good because they're so salty and sweet.
She's out of work usually at 2:30, but
I just
they have a
I sent
staff
the photo
meeting.
to
It's
the
like
group chat.
3:30.
I sent a photo to
Unless
the
we were
group
trying
chat.
to do like a night one.
Dude, I'd be down for anything to get her on.
Thursday
It'd be
night?
great.
Yeah.
Thursday night.
It's her first time too, so.
But if she, there's times where she can skip church like one time of the week, and then she'll be able to come. But just have to know in advance.
Yeah. We'll get her on. That'd be great. I would love that.
Just because she hasn't seen the movies either, right?
No, so she's actually reading the books along with
For
me,
the first time.
and then
It's
we
so cute.
watched the movie.
After
Like we
you're
watched
done.
movie 1, and then she finished book 2. And we do it at the same time.
Hey, this podcast is great with relationships and babies. It's like,
For real.
you know, Danny and Jen, and I know.
It
For
works.
real.
So.
So real quick, is it rude if somebody you know requests to follow you on Instagram, but you don't know them super well, so you don't really care about what they post?
That's me, like, 90%.
So I let them follow me, but I don't follow them back.
I do that.
Yeah.
But I'll see this person every time.
Don't have an Instagram. You don't have to worry about those.
I just got rid of my
those
Facebook.
things.
He said it was really hard to get rid of.
Really?
No. Oh,
Aw.
No,
not
like,
for me.
emotionally, like, they wouldn't let him delete it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made
for
it
Facebook it
super
is, yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
It's tough.
Oh,
They hide it.
Yep.
Oh, big smiles.
All right, let's keep hearing this out. When's your time?
Like 4-ish.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
4:15-ish.
I'm like trying to find it.
It's,
I need to
it's
get these
happening.
away
I'm
from
gonna
me.
say we do a check at like 3:15.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's when it's supposed to happen. I said we do a
We
check
probably
like
will be done with this next round at like 3:15.
it's like 3:25.
Don't stop, don't stop.
Looks like Pac-Man right now.
Huh?
It looks like Pac-Man right now.
I know, right?
You
pretty
can
cool.
have them
It is
all.
pretty cool.
Didn't
Isn't
this
it
just
weird? Like
happen?
you look up at it and you're like,
I couldn't see anything, and I was like looking around.
yeah.
I was like, maybe I should take my glasses off, locate where it is.
Yeah.
Look at her looking at him. Sorry, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
This is the first dog she's met.
Can you pass me a biscotti?
Wes is a great first dog to meet.
Really?
Shut.
I'm
You sounded
Thank you.
Scottish. You sounded more Scottish than Italian. Biscotti.
Hey, can you pass me? Yo, we're covered pretzel. What nationality?
Chocolate covered pretzel. The real deep American. Chocolate covered pretzel.
She not content.
I don't know. She is content.
How many calories is
Give
brown
her my little
Hmm?
leg thing.
How many
like-
calories is brown on?
1700.
Bro, what?
Wait,
Thanks.
time out. The next total solar eclipse is in 55 years.
It's in 2044,
Yeah, this is a big
right?
deal.
Or that the lunar one?
Didn't one
That's
just
a
happen a
lunar
couple
one.
years ago?
Did you guys hear about the
Well, that's a
middle
partial
school-
eclipse.
did you
This
hear
one is
about
in
the middle school teacher?
2079.
Middle school science teacher, I think, or
Mm-mm.
English. I don't know. He told his class, and we know someone who like taught him in like the 80s. He told his class that in however many years, like 46 years, when this happened, he was gonna have a reunion of his class.
Aw.
And apparently, like over 100 students showed up.
No way.
Are signed up
That's
to
cute.
do it. But you know Jess Anderson,
Mm.
Anderson's wife.
Mm.
So she was one of his students, and so like all these students
Look
came
at
from
you.
like years ago that he taught, and he
No
was,
way.
like, he's like in his 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
now,
That's so
and
cool.
they're all gonna watch it together.
Hmm.
That's
Isn't that
awesome.
cool?
That's really
That's
cool.
really cool. That's cute. I love it.
Who's that?
Yeah, we'll. I still don't know when. I think 3:15. We'll go outside at like 3:15 ish. Take a break for 10 minutes. All right, let's knock this out so we can get
Just
done.
start without Mark. It's fine.
Mudbloods.
So Eric can finish book 3. Eric, what are your? This is the first question we'll start this podcast off with. How do you like Colin Creevy?
Funny you should ask, John. He's my least favorite character.
No
Uh huh.
You're terrible. Eric.
You are a horrible person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know
He
why?
said Colin Creevy is his least favorite character.
Well, besides Dobby.
Wait, really? I
yes.
think he's super annoying too.
That's why. That's why. Because like he just like comes up at the wrong times, and I'm like,
Well, oh man, I don't. This is too personal. I think I don't think I can share this.
Share it.
Well, John, it involves you. So.
Yeah.
Me and John in college had
You guys went to college?
yeah.
Together.
It's
I
getting
thought
a
you were
little
gonna-
personal right now.
Yeah.
Well, we had our own Colin. What was his name? Colin Creevy. Right?
Wait, really?
There's a few people that were like Colin Creevy.
Well, there was
Oh,
one.
I thought you meant there was
No,
someone
there was
named
a there was a
Colin
kid.
Imagine
There was a
that.
kid that we went to college with who, like, after every sporting event, he carried a camera around, and he would take our photo
Yeah.
after like everything that happened at school.
Yeah. He was less annoying. He was
In
like,
real life, that kid was great. I loved him.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was like a.
but
Jordan,
he,
right?
yeah, he was a nerd. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I loved him so much. We sat together in class all the time. But he was super nice, super smart.
Yeah. A
A
little off.
little off. He did have a mental breakdown
Yeah.
and left school, but he was a really nice kid. I really liked him.
What's hard-
Anytime,
Colin Creevy
anytime he asked for a photo, I would take it. But the difference between him and Colin is that Colin is there at all the wrong times taking
Yeah,
photos.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
I think what's hard is that once you've seen the movies, it's really hard to separate the characters in your mind.
Yeah, agreed.
So even with like Dobby, like I think I liked him at first because when I see him in the movies, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited that he's like in the books. But it's also because I have the history of like having watched the movies
Yeah.
and seeing the development of the character.
Fully agree. Yeah. That's why it's nice that you're not doing. Well, you've already seen the movies, but like you've forgotten the movies.
He
to the
pretty much
extent
slept
that
through
you
the
can
movies.
kinda- I know.
Yeah.
So.
He
It's
was
actually
studying
pretty.
or sleeping
It's,
through
it's,
the
it's
movies.
pretty concerning, but
Yeah.
no, he was studying, so it made sense.
I'm so bummed that you don't like Colin Creevy. I mean, I think he's made to be annoying in this book. So
Do
Gotta
we?
point,
And maybe this is a horn gene because I can't remember this, but do we see Colin throughout the rest of the books?
Yeah.
Okay.
mm-hmm. He's a very minor character,
Yeah. Right.
but we see him
Yeah.
here and there.
He's no Harry.
Yeah, the,
Harry-
the whole books from
Harry's-
this point on are about Colin Creevy.
Yeah.
I think Harry is the top five most annoying characters.
Yeah.
especially in what is
Yeah.
it, book
5.
book 5? He gets like really
Book 5
annoying.
is just it was the hardest book to get through for me. I think because Harry is such a
Oh yeah, we'll get there, Eric. We'll get there in a few years, maybe. But welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
I'm Eric.
I'm Mark.
I'm Liz, and this is Lizzie and Cece.
And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Okay, I was gonna ask about this earlier on, but we're in chapter 6 with Gilderoy Lockhart. Can you give me a quick summary of this one? It's pretty basic.
Yeah,
Wiener.
essentially he's just at Hogwarts now, right?
Yeah.
Teaching and
Huh?
they're taking his
Oh, I thought you
classes.
said what's your take of Gilderoy Lockhart?
No.
I did it in one word.
Wiener.
Wiener.
So Gilderoy Lockhart is a wiener, but here's my main question. Why did Dumbledore, even at the end of this book, why did Dumbledore hire Gilderoy Lockhart?
Or to take the attention off of Harry. I don't know.
Interesting.
Only reason why I say that is because he's a big name and everyone knows of him and
Yeah.
everything. So then I thought like, oh, if there's attention on him, maybe it takes a little bit off of Harry.
Wow, that's actually a fascinating point. I've never really thought about it in that way. That he's doing it for just to get some attention taken off of Harry. Why did you guys think that he hired him?
Does Dumbledore
gets
hire
answered.
the professors, or is it like the
Yeah.
Ministry?
It's Dumbledore at this
It's
point.
Dumbledore
Yeah.
at this point.
Maybe the Ministry gives him some suggestions and he goes with them, but Dumbledore is really the one that's hiring here. She's so cute.
I don't know. I never really thought about it. I don't think Dumbledore thinks he's all that. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's
No,
the reason.
yeah.
I like your theory, Eric. There's one theory that goes out there that I really like too. It's which I think it's still ridiculous that Dumbledore wasted an entire year of their magical education just to do this. But he hired Lockhart specifically for the purpose that Harry would see what he would have become had Harry grown up in the magical world. So Harry, because everyone knew him, everywhere he went, he would have been famous in the magical world, which is why he needed to be taken away from that, which is like Harry would have been like, signing autographs every chance that he got, and maybe it would have gotten to his head and he would have become like Lockhart.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's interesting because mine is similar to Eric's reason, but I always, and again, there's no rhyme or reason for me to think this.
Thank you.
I actually think I may have heard this somewhere, and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Got
And
a lot to say about this.
She's so cute.
she also hates Gilderoy Lockhart. But I always thought it was to bring more attention to Hogwarts because then it would be harder for Voldemort to get in.
Ooh, more security. I like that.
Because everybody's eyes are on it, right? So everybody's looking at it because that's where he is.
Wow.
But
I like that. These are
Or
But
did he want to destroy Lockhart?
yeah, that's another
and he
theory.
knew that this would prove that he wasn't actually all he said he was.
That's another theory.
Those are smarter, I think, theaters. But I think I don't think I made mine up. Like I don't think I just came up with that. I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere, and I was like,
Yeah, the other theory that Liz said is a big one too. That people think that Dumbledore knows the people that he's stolen the memory from, and so he wants to expose Gilderoy here.
Dumbledore is so satisfying as a character, right? Because like there are so many things that you're just like you're irked by because you're just like, oh, I want people to know that this guy's an idiot, and I want them to know all the and Dumbledore always either in the end of the book or later on in the book kind of just like you know he knows more than he lets on, right? So like.
There's one thing he says, I can't say it, but there's one thing he says to Harry in this book. This is on a tangent a little bit. And I'm just like, is he saying what I think he's saying?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Or is this like, is he talking about something else and he doesn't know this aspect yet? It has to do with Voldemort.
Huh.
Something that toward the end, Harry says to him.
Are you gonna bring it up when we get there, or is
Probably
it too
not,
meta?
because it's too like, it'll give away too much.
Okay.
I don't know.
But there's
if it
something
will.
that Harry asks him
Yeah.
and he answers, and I'm like, is it what I think it is, or is at this point does he not have knowledge?
I think we can talk about it, but we can't go too far into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm actually curious about that. There's a few things like I think everything will still go over Eric's head, even if you just mention a random line.
Yeah, because Eric's a...
Eric's thick.
I'll bring it up
Guys.
when we get to that.
Okay.
To that point.
Sweet. Yeah, the she is so cute.
She's
I
got a
love
lot
her
to
little
say.
noises. I know. And I love the in this book. There's like a lot of interesting characters who are famous or who are like, even Colin Creevy's asking Harry to sign certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Harry, you can make some money off of it, so why not?
Yeah.
But you had no doubt that Lockhart wasn't a good wizard. Did you think immediately that he was just a fraud?
No, not at all. I thought that with like all of his, like the attention that like he was getting and like how everyone knew of him, and he was this big author of these books, and I thought he was like a big time wizard. So I didn't think that he was a fraud at first, but yeah.
Okay, let's go into the next chapter, which is Mudbloods and Murmurs.
Whoa, watch your mouth.
I know. I'm sorry. It's the name of the chapter.
Wait, say it again.
Say it.
What's the name of the chapter?
No.
I got you. Don't worry.
Do they bleep it out?
I was gonna bleep him out.
Ready?
Okay.
It is Mudbloods and Murders.
That's so good.
Can you give me a quick summary of this chapter? Do you remember? This one's maybe a little harder to remember.
I don't think I would be able
Is
to
this
do this.
Yeah.
I hate this chapter.
Murmurs? Is this where?
Your favorite characters in this chapter?
Yeah. Is this where Harry starts to hear things?
Yeah, he hears. Actually, no, he hears things at the next chapter, or when he gets a detention. I think, not in this chapter.
Mudbloods, murmurs.
Oh no, you're right. At the end of the chapter, he does hear the voice.
Is this where they do detention?
No, he doesn't. This isn't where they do detention yet. This is the chapter where they have a bunch of Quidditch practice things that are happening, and then after Quidditch practice, then Malfoy comes and then calls Hermione a beep. And then there's like a whole download of information that Ron gives about what the Mudblood is.
Good job, guys.
Okay. We're really linked up
I
here.
wonder how loud that's gonna come out.
Yeah.
In the audio.
That's great.
Is this also where our boy Colin, Harry's like in a rush to practice, and Colin's
Yeah.
like, explain
Yeah,
to
that's
me
why I
what
said your
Quidditch
favorite
is.
characters in this
Yeah.
chapter.
Okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah, there's some like annoying little parts of this, but you like the game of Quidditch?
I do. I wish it was an actual thing.
Well, what position would you play?
I wouldn't want to be a seeker.
That's okay. We have another one.
I feel like you'd be a good keeper.
That happens.
Keeper, really?
Yeah.
I would say keeper or either
Chaser or beater.
I'd be a beater for
Yeah,
sure.
you'd be a beater. You'd be a great beater though.
Love being a beater.
I'd be on the sidelines keeping score.
No way, you'd be a great seeker, Liz. Come on.
he would be a
Small,
good
crafty.
I
seeker.
don't know. Maybe because I'm not good at team sports, so probably.
Yeah. Who's the people that score? What's their?
Chasers.
Yeah, I think I'd be a chaser.
Be a
I think
chaser.
a chaser would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a good one. What do you think about the whole download of information for what a is?
Sorry, not linked up.
What do you think about the whole like information dump on what those are?
What do I think about the?
Eric probably supports the use of that word.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Considering
like,
his stance on
give me
house elves.
He's going around slinging that word everywhere.
it's funny. He was
You
like,
called me that at basketball the other night.
I did call you that. It was like a couple weeks ago.
And I think I don't even think he meant that. I think he was trying to say
Muggle. I think
Muggle.
I love the fact that there's like terminology that like can't be used in the wizarding world.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny, and I think it's a great added little piece
Yeah, agreed.
to it.
It's
honestly.
interesting that like she didn't go with like. I mean, it makes sense like for the plot and everything. That like she didn't go with curse words. She went with like a racial slur.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. But it does add a whole aspect of like the wizarding world, and like there being like purebloods, and
Yeah.
it's so crazy.
I know. Yeah, it adds a
There's
lot
a
of
lot.
depth to this world
Mhm.
after just this single thing. You learn about like a lot of people have like a huge racial bias or whatever it is based
What I
on
don't
blood.
get though is like Voldemort is not a pure blood.
Yeah.
So like, why does that never like? Why is everyone like, dude, you're being pretty
Yeah.
hypocritical right now?
But here's the thing: no one knows that because, and we'll talk about this later on when we go through the series. But no one really knows that he's not a pureblood.
Yeah.
Most people think that he is. There's one person who confronts another character on this later in the series and says like, "Oh, did you know that like Voldemort's a half-blood?"
Beep.
And the person's like, the person's like freaking out about that news.
Is this whole series just about Voldemort having a complex?
Yes.
Literally, yeah.
All right.
All right. This has been
There
fun.
it is. Wrap it up.
Drop the mic. Let's go home. Oh, man.
When you were reading this, did you have any theories on what happened with Hagrid? Why he got expelled?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the chapter. So I want to say when I was reading it, because I was thinking of that, like why would they get rid of him? And I want to say it's because he knew a lot, or like knew too much, or he had like his hand in the pot too much. Because I think at this point everyone knows that he's pretty close with Harry, and like Ron and Hermione. So I think they wanted to kind of just get him out, so that like things like he didn't have like any say or anything in it.
Yeah.
Because he does have a decent amount of power too.
Yeah.
He's been there for so long. So that'd be my theory on that.
And last one, Harry gets detention in this chapter. Or he gets it at the end of this chapter. But what's either one of the dumbest or funniest reasons why you got a detention in school?
Yeah.
Did Eric ever get a detention?
I did get a detention.
You did?
Yeah, and it was actually like
Eric
my
had a
first
lot
year
of
at school.
funny intentions.
Yeah, there's one I can't say.
Shocked.
No, you
'Cause
can't say
I went
that.
to Mark and it was when I was in middle school. I started crying in the hallway. It was really bad.
I'm so curious about this now.
I'll have to tell you that.
Yeah,
off
the
the
mic's
air.
That'll be behind the scenes.
But there is like when I first started, because I was when I transitioned up to school here, and it was in 7th grade, and we were in gym class, and you know how like you're playing sports, like you slap someone on the butt, like good game.
Yeah.
I did that to one of my friends, and he got like skeeved out, and like went and told the teacher, and like
You
they had
slapped him on the butt?
yeah.
No way.
So they gave me detention
What?
because I said I was like
Did you
inappropriate.
slap him on the...
Yeah.
Really?
And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'll never touch you again.
No.
Eric got a detention for spanking someone.
Yeah, I did.
In 3rd grade, a bunch of me and a bunch of my friends, and Danny was included in this mix. We would
Ew.
pull pranks on each other. We'd pull each other's wieners.
Is that a prank?
It was like...
That was not what I thought you were gonna
I
say.
thought you were going to say pull each other's pants down.
That's what I
We
thought.
would
that
sneak up
was-
each other at lunch. You'd be like eating lunch as a 3rd grader. You'd be eating lunch, and all of a sudden, like Danny would be under the table.
Probably,
And
oh
it was
my
a prank
gosh.
that you just pulled the
The
wiener.
school counselor probably thought you guys all were
Yeah.
like
And
psychotic.
so the principal calls like 5 of us into the office. And we were like, we didn't. It was just between us. We weren't doing it with anybody else. We weren't bullying anybody. But they gave us all detention for it. It was like, it was wild.
That's incredible.
so great. I love that.
Insane.
We gotta start doing that.
That's a ridiculous. I
Just
can't believe
start
you got
doing
a detention for giving someone a little bum slap.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
God.
that was one of them. There's a good one I'll share with you, but I don't think I can share that one on here.
It's wild.
But yeah, it was pretty dumb.
That is dumb. Okay, so the next chapter is the Deathday party, which is chapter 8. Can you give me a quick summary of that one?
Deathday party. From what I remember, this is where like obviously they're having a party, right? And this is where Harry like really starts to hear that voice more often, right? And he's now like trying to follow the voice that he's hearing. And then they're all in the hall, or the 3 of them are walking in the hallway, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And like they see like the writing on the wall type of thing.
Yeah.
Then the cat came around, and it was like meowing, not
Yeah.
crying. It was meowing and like all of a sudden making like a little bit of noise, and then the cat ends up being killed, right, in this chapter.
Yep.
And then everyone kind of like floods the hallways and sees the 3 of them and the cat and then all this stuff. So
that a little bit of that is oh no, you're right. So that's like even the next chapter, which is writing on the wall. But there is another part of this chapter that so they go to this thing, the Deathday party, which is Nicholas's like, what was it, like his
The anniversary?
like 500th death anniversary or whatever. I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So that was a great summary for that. And this is where we learn what a squib is, because Harry goes to Filch's office, and he sees this little thing called Quick Spell, which is like he's trying to learn magic, and you learn that he's a squib in this chapter. So there's a lot of information in this chapter. But would you rather go to a Deathday party or to a Halloween feast?
Oof. At Hogwarts,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of food.
Also, I do feel like it's getting dark, which is kind of cool. I feel like it just
Yeah, I
get like a
think-
shade darker.
Yeah.
I feel it's still gonna happen in 15 minutes, but it's kind of getting cool.
I I think I would say probably the Halloween feast, because I'm a big fan of food, and the food that they do describe a little bit, and I think it sounds bussin', as the kids would say. So.
Yeah, because the Deathday party has like rancid food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they can smell it.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
wasn't in the movie, right?
No.
I wish they put
I
this
know.
scene in the movie.
Oh, me
So
too.
fun.
I always think about this.
Yeah.
I'm always
Oh,
like,
movie.
man,
I don't remember
what a
the
missed
movie.
opportunity. But Halloween's my Halloween's my favorite
You're
holiday.
not allowed to say that.
It's great. It's a good holiday.
All my friends were not allowed to go, and I would go out. I was like eager to get out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I
year.
love when Halloween was on a Saturday too, because it was like the whole day, just trick or treating.
Oh yeah, I
Ooh,
went this.
We already have like 3 or 4 Halloween costumes planned for her first Halloween.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're just gonna have like
Just,
outfit
change 'em out.
changes.
I went this last year as a cow. Liz went as
An
a.
inflated bull cow.
an
Like it had
inflatable
something
cow,
inside of
yeah.
it that like inflates it.
It was
I love
huge.
it.
It was such a big
And I was
costume.
an elephant.
Liz went as an elephant.
I love it.
Sure.
Yeah, Halloween. The Halloween feast would be great. It just even like all the good pumpkin food. I'm a big
Yeah.
Halloween.
I love
Like,
pumpkin
yeah.
spice. everything
Yeah,
else.
basic stuff. There is another. Actually, we'll move past that. What did you think the voice was on your first read? Like, and even this writing on the wall, which is "Enemies of the air, beware." But what did you think the voice was?
I thought it was like Voldemort.
Really?
Straight up. I mean, how he used Professor Quirrell in the first one.
Yeah.
I thought it was like something like that too, where like Harry's hearing like Voldemort
Yeah.
seduce him.
That's so interesting. That Voldemort didn't cross my mind.
Really?
Yeah. I remember the first time I read it, I was forever trying to figure it out. I thought maybe it was a ghost. Maybe somebody else had like an invisibility cloak. Like, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. I thought someone was playing a trick on him. I did not put, I remember the first time I read it, I did not put 1 and 1 together.
Yeah.
That like he could talk to snakes and like,
Yeah.
that was out
That's
the window.
interesting. Yeah. There's a that's like that is an interesting section. This book is definitely more of a mystery where like there's in book 1 you can kind of solve it. In this one you can't. It's just like things are happening and you're like, okay, what the heck is going on? So it's a little bit more of like it just leaves you hanging for certain things. But the next chapter is a writing on the wall chapter, which is kind of where you get more of this information. Snape comes out and defends them, but do you remember anything else that happens in this chapter? We're introduced to another character who I thought was going to be your least favorite character. Moaning Myrtle, the pervert.
Yeah. He's my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. Moaning Myrtle. Remind me again.
And this is where we were introduced into what the Chamber of Secrets is. And you don't make the connection between the two yet, but Moaning Myrtle is like the person in the bathroom who...
Right, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I just like in the book, it's different than for sure the movies. Like the movies for me made that bathroom seem so far away.
Yeah.
The book makes it seem like it's right there.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
I feel when I read it, I was like, how is nobody going in the bathroom? These kids are just all these kids are just going in the girls' bathroom right now, bro. But
And then I guess one of the they're introduced into like Polyjuice Potion in this chapter as well, because they need to. The trio is trying to figure out who the heir of Slytherin is. Did you have any guesses for who the heir of Slytherin could be?
Well, at one point, I thought it was Harry.
Really?
Well, when they were going through that whole spiel, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's Harry for sure.
Makes sense.
But I was like, oh, that's happening too early.
Mm.
Like, I don't think they would drop that. The And then I thought it could be like Draco.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I thought.
That's what the trio thinks. So that's why
Yeah.
they're doing Polyjuice potions, so they
Right.
can figure out if it's Draco or not.
Yeah. Those were honestly my top 2. I always thought it was Draco, but then when they started talking about Harry,
Real plot twist. It ends up being Dudley.
He's back.
that'd be so good. Oh, but then also like later on in the book, I thought it could be Ginny
Ooh, yeah.
with like the way things are.
That would have been
With-
a crazy
yeah,
plot twist.
seriously.
Yeah, that's kind of where I thought they were gonna lead it to.
Because she was acting real peculiar in this with like
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that was interesting that you picked up onto that, because those are some small lines that it mentions Ginny in like weird little ways. But that's a good pickup on Ginny.
Yeah.
Who would you guys transform into if you had Polyjuice potion?
Who?
Hmm?
Anybody?
You had a day of Polyjuice potion, or an hour of Polyjuice potion.
An hour.
Wes.
You can't do animal transfiguration. You would turn into him for a while.
Who did you say?
Wes.
Man, this is a hard question.
No, it's,
I feel like I'd do a professional athlete or something like that. It's
In my-
basic. Like
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark. Let me transform into Caitlin Clark for like
yeah.
a little bit and play in the
Quarter.
national
This
championship
is
game.
this is what's hard. Is like you're still yourself.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
how many?
My
How do
shooting
you
ability is
keep
not as good as her.
Right.
Yeah, I keep airballing shots. Like Caitlin sucks for this hour.
That's like Space Jam.
Yeah.
Probably Cece.
I was just thinking
Aw.
that.
That's so weird.
The reason I was thinking of it is because I'm like, I want to be passed around and everybody thinks I can't understand what they're saying
And
and,
you
hear
know.
what they say about
Yeah.
me.
That's so good.
All of a sudden you see CC going like this.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really annoying to be a baby though, because the way everyone would talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
I
Liz,
really
it's so
don't
funny that you
know.
say you're so
It's
introverted.
weirdly dark. Also.
Yeah, I don't think I would actually want to be. I, think, I don't really
Man.
think I would want to do it. Like, period.
Yeah,
I don't think I would want
same.
to turn to anybody.
I don't really, for me, the holdup is the actual drinking of that. I think I would hate just having. I don't know if I would even be able to transform it, but I'd
Yeah.
throw it up too quick.
You'd have to
Yeah.
drink that.
Yeah, Mark would be throwing up everywhere.
Would I even be able to transform into anybody? Yeah, probably a professional athlete though.
Yeah. Just for a little bit to experience it. Be kind of fun. Be LeBron James's height.
Really,
True.
Really, it's
Mr.
more.
Wembanyama.
I know.
If I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna transform into someone who like has like a ton of really cool like sponsorships.
Yeah, right.
Sponsor me, love
Make
free
a
stuff.
lot of money for
And then
an
I'm just
hour.
gonna go ham. I'm gonna get an hour's worth of as much merch as I can, and shoop, outie. You know.
I like it. Respect. Okay, let's do chapter 10. There's the last one in this little section, which is the Rogue Bludger.
Peak solar eclipse is 324. Just everyone.
Oh,
knows.
sweet. Okay, I was rushing, so we can get to that. Perfect. The Rogue Bludger. Tell me about this.
I'm trying to think of what this one was. Quidditch. Oh
Quidditch,
yes. Is this when like the bludger is like
Goes rogue.
like yeah? That's it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, who
No,
makes it go rogue?
At first, didn't really all think it was Snape,
Yeah.
and then because he was like, it looked like he was doing some crazy stuff, but ends up not being him, right?
Yeah, it's not him.
Oh, who was it?
Come on. Who tried to sabotage him before?
Gilderoy Lockhart. No, I'm just kidding. Shoot.
Those who want to keep.
Oh,
things-
Draco.
No.
Starts with a D,
Draco
though.
was fighting him. Draco was flying against him in this moment.
Why can't I remember this? It starts with a D?
Yeah.
Yep. The little creature.
Dobby.
Yeah.
I always confuse this scene with the scene in the book, or the scene in the book in the first book with Quirrell.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I always am like, wait a minute, isn't that
Yeah,
Quirrell?
they're kind of the same.
And I'm like, oh wait,
One's
no.
being thrown off a broom, one is the blood
Yeah,
trying to attack
exactly.
the person on the broom.
So I'm reading this and I'm like, where's Quirrell? Nope, just the Dobemeister.
I always think it's insane though, this chapter, how these crazy things keep happening in Quidditch and no one is there to like protect them or save them. Like how do
Right.
these spells just keep
Right.
being like Madam Hooch, who's the ref, who's supposed to be like managing this, is terrible. She doesn't know what the heck she's doing.
I have to keep telling myself that like we are only following Gryffindor's team, and that there are other games happening throughout the year that like
go okay.
Yeah,
normal.
Like there is still a full season.
Yeah.
So because in my head I'm like, how are they not seeing what we're seeing here?
Yeah. Harry does break a bone in this chapter too. Have you ever broken a bone?
Have I broken a bone? I broke my nose. I don't know if that counts as a bone.
Yeah, it counts.
But I broke my nose in a soccer game.
No way.
Yeah. I went up to go like head a ball, and this guy came down with his elbow right on my nose and broke it straight down.
Ouch.
Yeah. I think that's the only bone I've broken though.
I've never broken a bone. Yeah. It kind of makes sense though. I didn't really play sports.
I've never broken anything like serious. I've broken I've broken almost all of my fingers and all of my toes, but
really?
Yeah.
Wild.
Just like
sorry.
No, you're good.
My grandmother broke her toe. For 2 years, didn't do anything about it, and then she had to get her toe amputated because she didn't tell anybody.
No.
And it was all like it was like so deformed that they like couldn't do anything. So they just it was like the middle toe, and they say you don't need that one really. So yeah, isn't that crazy?
Speaking of pro athletes too, you ever see LeBron James's toes?
No. Yes.
There's the one picture online of his toes, and they look like this. They're like huddled together because he's putting them in basketball shoes. They're like all deformed and ugly.
Really?
Sorry, LeBron, sponsor us.
Yeah, LeBron, send us some shoes.
We love you. Yeah.
That's
it is wild though.
Ooh, something's happening out there.
I know it's getting dark.
Like weirdly.
So we're gonna take an eclipse break in a second. There's one final line I want to talk about in this chapter, which is. How much do you think Dumbledore knows about these things that are happening at the school? There's this one line, Colin Creevy gets petrified. And then someone says, if Albus hadn't been on his way downstairs for hot chocolate, who knows what might have happened?
I also just love that he's going for hot chocolate.
Yeah. But is he really going for hot chocolate, or does he know something that most of us don't know?
Well,
how do you view Dumbledore as a character? Do you think he's an omniscient person who knows everything that's going on, or do you kind of think he's like aloof? What is your opinion on Dumbledore right now?
I kind of think he doesn't know what's going on, but at the same time, like the way he handles everything, it's kind of like he knows that like it's kind of like he doesn't know what's going on, but he expects something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So like he already has like kind of thought in his head, because I feel like he approaches everything with such peace and wisdom that it's like I don't know if I'd say he's omniscient, but but I think he has like he understands what's happening and knows what's coming next.
Yeah.
Everything
You can trust him.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like he's just wise at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think he plays his cards so that you assume he doesn't know what's going on, and he knows a lot more.
Before Lizzie leaves, you know who one of Lizzie's least favorite characters is?
If you say Dumbledore,
is
you
it
can
Dumbledore?
Just leave.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so sad.
I do not think he's trustworthy at all. So.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
That is like not a typical first time
At
read.
book 5, I still have like 3% trust in him. Like,
Wowzers.
She is so suspicious of him, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Later.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's
I
crazy.
know.
It's blasphemy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I think we see it goes hand in hand. Like even with the last book, right? He looked in the mirror and he saw a fair pair of socks. You know?
Yeah.
And now in this one, he's coming down for hot chocolate. We know he's a sweet tooth.
Yeah. Yep. He's a little. He's a little interesting of a character here, though. That's for sure.
Agreed.
But tell me who your favorite character is in these 5 chapters and your favorite moment.
In these crew of chapters, I'm trying to think of
You did speed through them.
Yeah. What was the first chapter we started with?
That was Gilderoy Lockhart.
Because Ron, I still like Ron. Ron's my favorite character overall, but he's not really mentioned too often. Yeah.
Ron does have a great few moments in one chapter where he kind of explains what the M word is, and he explains like wizarding biases. So you can probably do Ron. I'm probably gonna do Ron. I'm actually gonna do Colin Creevy.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yeah, I guess we'll just say Ron at this point. I think Ron is still my favorite.
Okay.
Man,
I mean, it's harder for you because you are like trying to remember back on the moments in these chapters rather than like we're reading it at this moment 5 chapters and then we go to the next one, so it's a little more difficult for you. But
I liked what kind of pulled me in these chapters again was I love the Quidditch stuff, so that stuff's always a given, but I liked the aspect of like I think things are now picking up when we hear Harry's hearing things more often now. I think I liked that pickup of like things that are happening in the book.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would say that's probably
like the plot is thickening.
Yeah, it's starting to build. So I think I
sure.
like that the best part of these.
Yeah, that's a good one. Mark?
He did not play, I would say, a massive role in these chapters, but Hagrid.
Yeah, that's a great one.
For me, I hate throwing up. I'll avoid it at all costs. So when Ron pukes slugs for half a chapter, and the place they go to is Hagrid's house, right? And to take care of it. Like, I just think of Hagrid as like a safe place or like a comforting place. And I think that is so important for, you have a bunch of, these are children who are away at school. And when terrible things happen, they're going to look for the adult that they trust, right? And so Dumbledore is probably the one that they trust the most, maybe, but he's not always accessible. Hagrid's always accessible. Hagrid's always there, never ill-intended.
Yeah, that's a great one. I'll steal that one from you too.
I was just thinking as you were saying that, I think I would probably say my favorite character in this section of chapters would probably be Snape. Because you see him kind of help and not help but protect Harry during the Quidditch game.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
During like the voices things, you kind of see him defend
backs
them
him
a little
up,
bit,
which is wild.
Right,
because you're like Snape is only a sleazebag up to this point.
Right. So I would probably say Snape in these because you kind of switch your idea of who he is.
Yeah, it's true. I do feel like I have to remember, maybe this will happen, but in this book specifically, I feel like you see more of a human side to Snape than just the evil. Yeah.
This is definitely where it shocks you, where Snape kind of comes out of character a bit. It's a great point.
Liz's favorite character is Dobby, always.
Always.
And her favorite moment would be getting Cece to sleep right now.
It's a great moment. And I'm gonna steal what you guys say. So I'm going ditto on you guys. But we're gonna go watch the Eclipse.
It's happening.
Right now.
It's happening.
It's literally right now.
Yeah, it's actually
getting
crazy.
Dark. It's pretty wild. So we're gonna go watch that. Take a breather.
It's the end of the world.
But thanks for joining us on this journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Thanks.
We'll be back in a few to conclude some of the discussion. Let's go check out the Eclipse.
Eclipse.
FaceTime me and I'll put it in there as a beacon reminder.
Yeah.
I'll put up a notification saying we're having an Eclipse break. Taking an Eclipse break. Everyone will be back in like 15. Is she down?
I put her down. She's not.
Go for it.
You FaceTiming me, Mark? You're scared of what? Did you fart?
No, it was Mark. Both of them scared
I'm
us.
leaving.
It echoed us. He's like a tail between his legs. What is that?
Listen, it smells real bad.
It does?
Ouch. Oh no. Yeah, it does. It kind of smells weird. Oh, what? Taking pictures on that.
We're still lying.
I know.
That was crazy, guys. I can't see though because I looked directly into it. My eyes are all out of whack now. It's like it's 90% coverage. Surely I can look into it.
Right?
Nope.
Yeah, kind of seeing spots right now.
Yeah. It's because you did. It's just lingering. I know those are the best. Trader Joe's, baby.
We should go to Trader Joe's on our way home.
Ooh,
I don't know.
just snacks.
Snacks.
That's all you need from TJ's.
This happened a week ago. And you said
Today could be the end of the world. What are we gonna eat? For the end of the world, that was a pretty great lunch.
I know. That was
To
great.
be a last meal.
That was incredible.
That was
Kava,
fantastic.
sponsor us.
I know.
Kava, sponsor us for the last day we are alive.
Wow, it's weird outside. It's like eerie.
I know.
I remember when those forest fires were going.
Look at this picture.
Is that Jake in there?
Jake and the gang.
Love it.
Jake and Bear actually?
That's great.
And
Was it the
this-
sun
wait,
behind
Yeah, the
did he
sun's
text-
behind
Did
them.
he text that to you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna text him the photo of us.
Yes.
Wait, Eric, send me the other one with my weird hand.
I'll send it in the.
What?
I'll send the other one in the group. It's because we're doing the podcast. You're casting a spell.
Alrighty. Let's knock these ones out real fast.
Knock them out of the park.
Just knock them out of the park. It's crazy. It's like just feels like a cloudy.
I
rainy
guess
day.
they. I guess they did go.
Yeah, they might still. It didn't look like it was a full, or a full clip. So
Yeah.
maybe they're just taking it like we took it. I don't know. Okay, Eric, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, in this chapter, we're introduced to parcel mouths, parcel tongues.
Parcel
Parcel
eclipses.
tongues.
If you could speak to one kind of animal, what animal would you speak to? All of you guys. This is a general question.
I know this for sure.
You know this about Eric?
Like what I would say?
No, for me.
Oh.
Maybe you too.
You
but
go ahead.
I would
don't
say
know
a
it.
dog.
Yeah.
Because dogs see so
Easy.
much. They're around so much. And they're also like one of the most common pets. So if
Yeah.
you could just talk. I would not want to talk to a cat.
Yeah.
I don't want to know
Yeah.
what they're thinking. They're probably nasty.
They're judging you.
Judging.
I would dogs are a given, but if I had to go like something aggressive, I'd probably say like a lion or something.
Ooh.
Like, do they think in their head like, I'm gonna get you, or is it like, I can't wait to eat this thing?
Yeah,
You know what I
Are
mean?
they vicious or are they like?
Yeah.
Are they just playing?
Is it like
Let's
a
get
yeah?
'em.
Like what is it, like what goes through their head? Yeah, probably what I would say.
My first thought was dogs.
Yeah.
That was my first
I
thought.
think that's
but
everyone's. Yeah.
Trying to be original.
yeah, I think part of me is like what Eric's saying with like lions. I really want to say bear. I want to say bears. I want to talk to bears. But part of me
You
is
have
like,
time to even have a conversation.
this is the thing. I think if you could talk to these creatures that are maybe you could reason with them.
That's true.
Oh my gosh.
One time our soccer.
Bear's charging Mark and he goes, "Hold on, stop." And
Let's
Bear's
talk
like,
about this.
All right, let's logically think through this.
Once when I was in college, the soccer team I was playing for voted me the most delicious person on the team, and they said if they this was not a conversation of like, hey, who are we? Of like, they determined I was the perfect amount of fat and muscle that I would be delicious.
You were. You were a perfect combo. You or Sam. I think Sam was in the running too.
Yeah, well, I beat him out. At the time, I was very insulted.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
I'm Eric.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Liz.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. And Cece's in the other room,
Yeah.
napping away. Love
We
that.
just sent her away with Lizzie. Really, here, take our child.
Saw the eclipse.
Saw the eclipse.
Yeah.
Saw the
Wow.
eclipse. I
She
know.
survived the eclipse 2024.
I gotta take the eclipse break off.
and
That's when I
the
don't have an eclipse
earthquake
break.
too.
We did stare at
know.
it too with our eyes, and we can all still see.
Yeah, I know. My eyes hurt
Yeah.
right now.
John might have caused permanent damage.
I know. I need a spell. Okay, so why? I'm still trying to like think through this because again, you've completely and fully read this book. So here's maybe just a fun one. If at this point in the books, if you could duel anybody, who would you want to duel?
Duel.
And then who would you want to have as your second
Like as a
Sorry. Is
No, go
this a
ahead.
fun duel
Yeah.
or like to the death?
to the death? Well, we'll say fun duel.
Because I feel like it would change.
Yeah, for sure.
a fun duel, and I have like a sidekick.
Yeah.
So I want my sidekick to 100% be Ron.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
100%. I love
With his
Ron.
broken wand.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I feel like Ron would be the kind of guy that just like sits back there and he's like, "Go, go, yeah, you got it."
He's a hype man for
Yeah.
sure.
Who would I want to duel? Colin.
I knew that was
To the death. He would be to the death.
No.
Like, any questions you got now? And then I take a picture of him.
You guys are terrible.
Oh my god.
That's probably what I would say. How about you guys?
I feel like it'd be fun to duel Hermione.
To duel Hermione.
Yeah,
Really?
but I also feel like she would definitely beat me. So
I don't know though. I don't know if she would because when it comes, never mind. Can't talk about that.
Anytime you're about to give something away in the book, you have to make the noise.
Yeah. I think you would win.
You think so?
Yeah.
Thank you. Eric's
I-
girlfriend told me I looked like Hermione the other day. Was it when you were watching the movies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I look like young Hermione.
Yeah.
I think Hermione's great at like the potions and spells, or not spells, but the potions and like the little things.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe a graduated from Hogwarts Hermione might beat you, but
If it was to the death, I'd want to duel Harry and just kill him and be like, "See, Voldemort couldn't do it, but I could."
Wow.
Has the power over you.
hmm.
Harry's got a lot of luck on his side, though. So
He does,
You're battling
that's
up against the
true.
luck. So.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah. Who am I taking? I am taking Fred.
Yeah. Honestly, they're great. Fred and George are great.
I mean, they know their spells. They know how to battle. They also know how to make like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So like trickery and stuff like that. Who do I want to battle?
To death.
Yeah. You all know book 5, baby. We ain't there, but I would
We're not there yet.
destroy her. So since we're not there yet, Lockhart.
Yeah. Lockhart
yeah,
would be a great
Lockhart.
one. Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna use this spell. I'm just gonna take a big old poop on him.
No
I'm gonna have Fred knock him out, and then I'm gonna poop on him, and then I'm gonna get Colin to come and take a picture of it.
John would just pull on his wand.
You're never gonna let me live down that story now.
It took me a second. It took me a
Unexpected because it's
second.
you and Danny.
I know. I know.
If I heard that Mark was doing that, or even Eric, I'd be like, all right. Kind of makes sense.
That's crazy.
Me and Danny. Well, Danny had the most rebellious phase. But Danny had like the record of detentions one year in school. Mainly because he wasn't doing his spelling homework. Give him detention every time you didn't do your spelling homework. You got a detention. So
I'm
he got
gonna
detention
just
all
like
the time.
quiz Danny on like words
Yeah.
to spell next time I see him.
But even in fifth grade, we got detention all the time. But him and Chris, I'm not gonna say his last name obviously, but he was only there for like 2 years because he got kicked out of the school because they got so many detentions and they were like such a posse. And I was with the posse, but I didn't get a lot of detentions. I was like the good kid in the posse.
I actually had a group of 4 girls. We called ourselves the Posse.
Really?
And the 3 of them were always getting into stuff. And I was
Uh-huh.
like on the outskirts.
You're leading them on the good
Yeah.
path. That's actually a good question. What do you think about how do you like the trio of friends right now?
I think the trio of friends is in a good space.
Because there's all sorts of like they're kind of alone and isolated here. Everyone thinks Harry is suspicious. Everyone kind of like he's the heir of Slytherin, and they're almost on their own for this whole stretch.
I think it's
Except for Fred and George, who are great, who are like announcing the heir of Slytherin coming down the hallways. Like Fred is like leading Harry, and he's like, "Make way for the heir of Slytherin! The heir of Slytherin coming through!" Like that's great. I love that.
I think it's a good thing that they're kind of like not on their own, but like a little bit separated. Because I think then they can now kind of figure out their own, like what their role is, type of thing, like where they're at. And at the same time, I think if they all needed each other, they'd all
they got each other's
they'd
backs.
be right there. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like I think that it's a good space right now where they're all at in terms of their friendships, because they all, like I said, doing their own thing, but then also have each other's back.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, you go.
I was gonna say I wish Neville was a more prominent part of the group. Like I wish it was 4 of them,
Agreed.
and Neville was the 4th.
Yeah.
Yep.
He would have made it. Yeah, he would have made another great main character. I just think about like, if you take away any of the 3 and the books are just 2 of them, like, I just don't think it would have made the cut. Right.
Yeah.
So like in every scenario, one of them is playing a main role, in some way.
Let's be real. Hermione really saves their butts. Like
For sure.
Every page.
For sure. But like, for example,
and Harry is usually getting them into more trouble.
Yep.
for example, they could not have done the Polyjuice potion without Hermione. But obviously she does not. She grabbed the wrong hair, so it's just like it's so like they went and did that on their own. So they all play a different role.
Especially in the books too, because the movies, if you see the movies, it's like Hermione is the only smart one, and then
That's
Harry's
true.
there, and then Ron just like a dumb
Comic
idiot.
relief.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But in the
That's
books,
true.
they're much more balanced out.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
They all definitely bring something to the group, which is kind of nice. And even the point you brought up, Mark, which is in the next chapter, which is Polyjuice potion, when they transform, Hermione's left out of the situation, and Harry and Ron have to get the information themselves. And they're lucky because Malfoy is just boasting about it.
Oh, sorry, did I jump ahead?
No, that's perfect.
Spoiler.
So, Eric, give me a quick summary of Polyjuice potion. I kind of just did, but
Yeah.
there you go.
Thank you. I mean, I can just reiterate it.
Yeah. What was your theory on who opened the Chamber of Secrets for the first time? Did you think it was Voldemort?
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. He was asking you. You're the first time.
I'm asking you too.
I was gonna say I think I thought it was Lockhart.
Ooh.
Because I think in the last book, like how it was like the new professor was coming
Yeah.
to blame for things. I think I thought it was Lockhart.
I
I
thought
thought
it
he
was-
was more involved in that whole situation.
I would say I thought it was more Snape.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I've been like, oh, it's Voldemort, but I think Snape, again, they kind of set him up to be like the darker guy that does those types of things. So
It is crazy though, because this is. I mean, you don't really get to know the kids, the teachers' ages here, but Snape at the moment is like 30. He's like my age, he's like 33 as a teacher,
Dang.
just sitting there bullying little kids. Which
Again,
is
looks so much older in the movie.
I know, seriously.
real.
I know. Alan Rickman is like 50s in the movies, which I love. Alan Rickman, I think he did great, but they were so much younger in the books and the movies. But Hagrid's one of the older, so like that's why you're led to believe that Hagrid was the one that opened it. In the coming chapters with Aragog tells him all that kind of stuff, and you think maybe it's the snakes, or maybe it's the spiders that are the beast or something like that. But that kind of all gets denied. But we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, there's not a ton else in this chapter. They kind of just like get the information on the Chamber of Secrets, what's going on there. But the next one is the very secret diary, which is a good chapter. What happens in this chapter, chapter 13?
this is where the diary, apparently that was mentioned earlier, really starts to come into play. And I think this is where we start to see more things are happening with the diary, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to remember. This is where like they're really now starting to kind of figure out. Okay, like there's like doesn't Harry get his hands on the diary in this chapter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Harry gets his hands on the diary this chapter, and like he can now see it writing back to him, and he's asking questions, and then he was like about to get more information. The person was like, or the writing the diary was like, oh, you like saying they couldn't or something like that, and then that was really it. I feel like in this chapter, there's like a lot of conversation back and forth with the diary.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah, and you learn like a few random things like Tom Riddle's special service to the school award. There's like ghost discussion in this chapter as well.
I want to come back to the special service award later on.
I'm curious now.
Just talk about it now.
You intrigued me, yeah.
Well, I'm jumping to the end of the book.
Go ahead.
Oh. Go ahead.
Because, well, obviously, Harry Potter does not die. But
Spoiler alert.
but him and Ron both get special services school awards.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they have trophies somewhere?
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Like, are they plaqued up somewhere in the school? Do they take those home? Is it in the Burrow?
That's got to be in the school somewhere. It's probably like the trophy because they're in the trophy room. Ron's in the trophy room polishing this trophy, and he keeps throwing up on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. And the next time Ron is polishing trophies, and for his next detention, he could be polishing his own trophy.
Exactly.
Which sounds like a euphemism for something else, but
nice.
That's a great point, Mark. I like that.
It's just something I was curious about. If that's what that meant.
Yeah. I think it's a little ridiculous too that they still have this trophy there. I mean, it's like, history, but like if the worst wizard of all time has a trophy to the school, why wouldn't you take that out of the school? If he's been pretty terrible, been murdering a lot of people, maybe it's time to take his special service to the word school out.
When do they talk about Tom Riddle? Is that like more in depth his history? Is it
It's
the
a
next
little bit
chapter?
it's a little bit this one.
Okay, so it's different than in the movies too.
Yeah.
I picked up. I was like, I feel like it was portrayed in the movies because I've seen the movies more than I've read the books, and I feel like it was portrayed that Dumbledore went and got him, but it wasn't Dumbledore. It was the headmaster from the orphanage. Wasn't it the headmaster?
Armando Dippet.
Hold on, I have to read it.
Dumbledore was the one that went to the orphanage.
Does it say that in here, or is that in a later book?
It's in a later book,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
That's when we get the story of that.
But he was just a professor.
He wasn't.
then.
No, that's what it was. He wasn't the headmaster.
He wasn't the headmaster
when it happened.
He was the
Okay.
professor.
I think
Yeah, he was
that's
the
where I
professor
was
of transfiguration.
confused.
Yeah, but
Man, I thought you were on. I thought it was like, whoa.
but you're right.
No, but it was like in my head. I was thinking when they said it was a different headmaster. I was like, I thought Dumbledore was the headmaster.
But the difference is important though because Dippet was not necessarily smitten with Tom Riddle, but Dumbledore didn't trust him at all. Didn't want him in the school anymore. Didn't want him teaching anything like that. And then Dippet was like, kind of liked him a little bit. So Dumbledore was really the only one that was suspicious of him, which you don't necessarily get that much in the movies.
In the movies, it's almost like he wants to hone his powers for good. Like
Yeah.
he wants to see the good in him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's completely different in the books. Yeah, that's a good pickup. There's also this little Valentine thing that Lockhart does, where he throws.
So weird,
I
man.
know.
Dude's a creep.
Yeah,
He is a little bit of a creep, to be
weirdo.
honest. Completely agree.
These are children.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten a Valentine?
From my mom.
I think from my mom. Yeah. I don't think I ever got one in school.
I know they would always do those in school, and I was like, whenever they came in, I was like, oh, do I get one? Yeah, I never got one.
They
I
always
got
they
it from
always
my
do those
mom.
carnation sales.
Yeah.
And like if you paid $1, you could send a carnation to somebody. And it was like, no.
Mark would have just kept the dollar.
First off,
Bagel
it's a
break.
carnation, and I remember what about yeah, they would come around and they'd hand them out to everybody in your class, and you'd be sitting there like, yeah, do I get one of these?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like way later in the day, someone
And
would come
Eric
in and
sent
be
him
like,
one.
Yeah. Brothers, and it's brothers.
Yeah. No, I only got one from mom. I think she would do
Yeah.
it. So we
our mom's
we
got
would
our
get
mom got
something.
yeah.
Yeah. It was always so embarrassing. I'd be like, who
Still
got
included.
me that?
You open it up,
Look, it's like, mom. I'm like, oh, okay.
And you like hide it. You're like, oh, this is my secret admirer, but really it's your mom.
And don't worry about it.
Yeah, Valentine's Day is a weird holiday, but Lockhart is he verges on really creepy in these moments. Like there's a lot of creepiness
he's
in
sending
this
it-
book, to be honest.
He's sending it to girls.
Yeah.
Like little girls, like 6th grade girls. Right, that's like the age they are.
Yeah. It is.
Well, it was legal then.
Bruh.
Just kidding. In the wizarding world,
In the
obviously.
wizarding world,
yeah,
it's different.
Come on, guys.
Legislation was different back then.
Come on.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Two chapters before you learn Moaning Myrtle, and I think she's one of the biggest creeps in the book.
Oh yeah.
But Lockhart is low key really, really creepy for some of the stuff that he does, and you learn. I mean, obviously, like it's uncovered how terrible he actually is. But
I think it's something that, and I've heard this before. Like, how is it that someone as smart as Hermione fell for his books? Right. So I've heard people like argue like there's no way someone who's so into reading and has all this knowledge to be like to read these books and think they're real.
Yeah.
but yeah,
it's like you're smitten with just the celebrity of it. And
and again, they're
charming.
children.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He's manipulative. He's taking advantage. It's like it's a little gross.
But I also love that Mrs. Weasley is like all about him as well.
Yeah. I know. She's smitten too. He's kind of great. The last chapter in this one is Cornelius Fudge, and I'm just curious what your opinion on Cornelius Fudge is.
Cornelius Fudge.
Do you remember what happens in this chapter?
Mark, was that you or was that Wes?
Wait, what?
That smell.
It wasn't me.
It probably is Wes. He sneaks
It
them out
smells like a dog fart.
For
Just get Mark.
everybody who listens to this podcast, I take full ownership, no shame. If I fart, you will know it, and I hope you smell it, and I want you to give me a review.
Going back to the podcast.
I'm sorry.
Now
you know me a little bit better.
We're gonna start another podcast reviewing Mark's farts.
This chapter, this is where Harry and Ron use the invisibility cloak, right? And they're going down. They kind of like sneak out and go to Hagrid's, and then people show up at the door, and Harry and Ron hide with the invisibility cloak.
Yep. And then Cornelius Fudge, they fire Hagrid.
Yeah,
And he's about to be sent out to
They send
Azkaban.
him, yeah. This is one of those chapters at the end. I was just like,
Have to read. Yeah.
I was like, you can't end the chapter like
I'm
this.
telling you, so these chapter endings that you get on are going to be even better than this. The chapter endings that keep going, gets intense. What do you think of Fudge, though?
What do I think of him? It's hard because he's just got introduced to the book now, right? So it's like
you don't really know anything about him.
No, but at the same time, I'm like, my man coming in mad aggressive.
Yeah.
So it's like, as a reader, I was like, okay, who are you, type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know, because he is coming in pretty aggressive. So I'm like, but I'm also like, okay, like he has some power in say of things. So I'm like, yeah. I guess that's where I'm at. I really don't have like a strong opinion of him.
I feel like that's kind of appropriate for this part of the book. You're not really supposed to have a strong opinion of him for or against. He's kind of just doing what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
But he's just like, you're like, who is this guy?
It's hard because it's almost, since you don't know who he is, it almost is like he's coming in just based off of what people have told him, and he really doesn't know what's happening.
Yep.
He just kind of hears it through the grapevine, and then that's how he's making decisions and so on.
Yeah, agreed. Dumbledore has this line at the end, though. He says, you will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it. What is he talking about there? What's that line mean?
Repeat it one more time.
You will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
I guess like if you're like someone like Hagrid, who like needs help or assistance with things, like if he was to ask Dumbledore for assistance, Dumbledore would do what he could to help you.
So then here's the follow-up question, because this is going to come up all the time. Why doesn't Harry ever ask for help?
Is annoying.
Yeah. Is Dumbledore here encouraging to ask for help, but he just doesn't Harry just never asks for help?
So I don't know if there's a definite answer for this, but from what I'm assuming and from my opinion, I'm going to say that it's because Harry either one is afraid of getting in trouble, because he's not supposed to be doing any of this stuff. So if he asks, they're gonna be like, no, you should be doing that, and then he won't get his answer. Or 2, he likes to get the credit for it and doesn't want anyone knowing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Continue.
I was gonna say, or 3 of like he's the like he knows he can do it, so he doesn't need the help type of thing. I don't know, because then he goes with Ron and Hermione, so it's like it's hard. I want to say it's probably more the getting in trouble piece. Like he knows that he won't get his answers unless he just does it himself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Trust himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like he's like, he again has a complex just like Voldemort, where it's like he just has to prove himself constantly.
Yeah.
But also Dumbledore said that as a hint.
Yeah.
For how to get out of trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because of the sorting hat, right? Because then he's like, when he holds a sorting hat and then he gets the sword.
Yeah. He's like
Whoa,
giving
what?
him little breadcrumbs.
What are you talking about?
That's the end of this book.
Whoa.
Let's keep moving through this quick.
Dumbledore always knows what's going to happen.
I know. He's...
Liz was not here for that question.
I know.
What question?
Do you trust Dumbledore or not?
100%. I trust Dumbledore with my life.
Did you know that Lizzie, the person who just left with your daughter, thinks that she doesn't trust Dumbledore at all?
What?
Like the least trusting of Dumbledore out of any character in this entire series.
Has she read the books before?
Yes, but she's completely forgot about them.
Oh, okay. Dang, that's
Amnesia.
crazy.
I know.
It's disheartening. Is what it is. Blasphemy.
I know. Okay, chapter 15 is Aragog, which is the spider chapter, which is an icky chapter. What information did they learn in this chapter? Give me a quick summary of this.
Is what they... So remember everything that happened.
I know, seriously.
Do I remember
the information
what?
dumps are a little tough.
Is this where like they kind of figure out like what's going on with...
They're supposed to, but they don't figure out. This chapter is frustrating because it's like, okay, everything is leading up until this chapter, and this chapter is a miscue where they go into the
Right.
forest, and they're about to figure out if that Aragog's the Chamber of Secrets beast monster, and Aragog's like, no, I'm not. And Hagrid wasn't the one who opened it. And that's literally, it's just like those two doors are closed, and that's all you really figure out.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
But then I thought that the spiders were going to help him, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my man's just like...
I know.
Kill them.
Yeah, which is absurd.
And then the Bentley rolls up, and he says, I got you.
Yeah. It's like a nice, like, poetic justice there. How did you think, when you're reading through these books, is it like going through your mind, like, how are they going to get out of this? And you're like thinking about scenarios? Or are you more so reading, you're just like, whatever's on the next page, you're just trying to read fast to figure out what happens? Because, like, when they're in the midst of the spiders and the spiders are about to eat them, how did you think they were going to get out of that situation?
I don't know. Because then when all of a sudden, like, he started to, like, actually converse with him or converse with them and, like, things were, like, going well, I was like, okay, like, they're going to be becoming, like, okay and, like, things are going to work out. But the last thing I ever expected was for the car to roll up out of nowhere.
Right, yeah.
Because I thought the car was broken down and stuck in the tree, and then all of a sudden now it's just pulling up in the forest, saving them from a bunch of spiders.
It's wild, yeah.
I'm very much more of like, especially in this kind of chapter, it was more of like, okay, like, how are they going to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
But there's been chapters where I'm like, okay, like what's on the next page type of thing, like what's to come. So.
And you said the previous chapter was like that for you, where like you finish that and you're like, I have to read to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it ended with like them going out to go see Harry or whatever with the invisibility cloak, I think.
Yeah.
And then like the next one was all these people in the house. So.
It's okay. Baby ASMR is welcome here. She's so cute.
She's asleep.
She's got little open eyes.
She's got nothing.
Wes, it's okay. You don't have to be jealous.
Aww.
Come here, boy.
Cece's your friend.
Come here. Yeah, big stretch. How was your nap?
They're on the same schedule.
But yeah, the chapter endings of these are just like exciting. It's like you finish one, you're like, I have to keep going to the next one.
Yeah.
So chapter 16 is the Chamber of Secrets. A lot of stuff happens in this chapter as well, but give me a quick summary.
Is that her?
What?
It smells like someone just straight up dropped the deuce in the middle of the floor.
Definitely Wes.
It might have been Wes.
That was, that's crazy. Wait, say it again one more time.
Blame my daughter for that?
I don't know.
She has
That's
some really
crazy.
smelly boobs.
I'm sorry, John. Say it one more time. for
What
me.
happened? Give me a summary of the Chamber of Secrets chapter 16.
Chamber of Secrets.
There was a chamber, and it was secret.
Yeah.
It had a lot of secrets in it.
No, this is where we finally see them figure out the pieces of how to get into the Chamber of Secrets.
Mhm.
They've now entered the Chamber of Secrets. My man is speaking that parcel tongue up
Yeah.
in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And and then obviously everything that. Do you want me to go into depth of like what happens in the Chamber of Secrets?
We're gonna talk about the next chapter because that's the era of
Okay.
Slytherin.
Okay.
But
so,
like the basilisk comes out, like
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll figure that out in a bit. But great little chunk here. When you I just got a whiff of that too. That is a slow wafting thing.
crazy, right?
Wow.
It was Eric. He just
Yeah.
blew it in
Yeah.
Wes.
Perfect timing, Wes.
Did all this catch you by surprise? Had you guessed any of this until this point?
No, like Ginny was like the last person that
Really?
was like on my mind. Oh yeah, I thought she was like this little like she was like not really a big character
Yeah.
at all. And I just thought she was just like the Wesley's sister
Yeah.
and not Wesley's, the Weasleys. Wes is right here. The Weasley's sister who just had a crush on Harry.
Mm.
That's what I always thought it was. But then all of a sudden, and it was a great twist to have her
Yes.
being the one that was kind of doing everything, which is so good.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, it completely caught you by surprise. Even the first book, you have like these two suspicions, and one of them is right.
Mm-hmm.
Quirrell just seems like a little shifty, but in this one, it's like an even more innocent person is just being
Yeah.
coerced and forced into doing this.
Yeah, it's just so cool.
It's just dark, yeah. Yeah, Ginny's an interesting character in this. How did you? Yeah, there's not a ton. There's a lot more in the next chapter, so we'll talk more about all this kind of stuff in the next chapter. But do you think that they should have shut down the school because the Chamber of Secrets was, like petrifying students, and it was?
I don't think they should have with the petrifying students, but when we started to see like kids actually getting hurt and being placed into like the hospital or infirmary there, then I would say like, yeah, they probably should have started closing things down, especially if your students are being hurt. They're
not the most responsible people.
They were like,
sure.
well, they didn't die.
Yeah,
They just
I know,
almost
yeah.
died.
And what gets me too is like you have professors who are sketchy there, and I'm sure Dumbledore had to have known that, right? So it's like, why didn't he say like, look, we really can't trust anybody right now.
Yeah, I know.
Unless he knows. Again, like we don't know what he knows.
Do you think they let the parents know of the petrified students?
All right.
Yeah, the people who are
Or
in
is
the
it only
hospital.
like they only let them know if they die?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is that's another good question. We'll talk about that in the last chapter, whether Dumbledore knows about all this stuff, whether he knew about all this stuff that was happening or not. It's a fascinating one, but yeah, the bulk of this one comes in chapter 17, which is the heir of Slytherin, which is when Tom Riddle kind of just gives him the information dump on like who he is, the whole opening of the Chamber of Secrets. Did you suspect him at all? Like, because we knew about the diary of Tom Riddle.
No. I thought again that I thought it was like that whole situation. I thought it was like the mirror, where it's like you can ask it questions and like
Yeah.
it would just like provide you answers.
Gotcha.
Not once did I think like, oh, the person that
Gotcha.
wrote in this is the person that
Yeah.
was the heir type of thing. So
Interesting.
then that didn't cross my mind once until they mentioned it, and I was like, oh snap! But she got me good.
And what is your first impression of Tom Riddle?
He's a nice boy.
He's a nice
Good
boy.
old Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just like an innocent person,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like a diary that.
Yeah. But what do you think? What do you think about him when you meet him in the Chamber of Secrets? Like later
like
it comes
a-
out that he's dark and that he's Lord Voldemort, but initially in the Chamber of Secrets,
Yeah, he comes off as like a more of a mellow guy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's kind of what I perceived him as. It was like a chill, go with the flow, like conversationalist.
Mhm.
He seemed like he was just having a conversation.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he like switched pages. So it's like it was interesting because I think he kind of presented himself as
yeah.
a normal person.
So two questions within that, which are Tom Riddle. He shows that his name is really I am Lord Voldemort, and then he has this one line where he says, "Now, no one knows why you lost your powers when you attacked me," said Harry abruptly. "I don't know myself, but I know why you couldn't kill me, because my mother died to save me, my common Muggle-born mother." So I guess the question is, how does that protection make Voldemort lose his powers? And like Harry says, no one really knows how you lost your powers, but I know how I survived, which is by my mother's love.
You're asking how did
Voldemort lose his power?
How did Voldemort lose his power?
But here's even the question: how did Voldemort lose his power? But then how is he back currently?
Oh, they mentioned in book 1 he gets his power from the unicorn blood, right?
Yeah.
So like he's probably out here just slaying demons and eating a bunch of blood.
Just slaying unicorns out there.
Does it say specifically how he lost his power? Because I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe he was never loved.
Oh, dang.
Never
Okay.
loved as a child.
Wow.
Complex.
Ouch.
It's all complex.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I really don't know.
So there's even another point in this. What is the magic entailed in concealing? Like, how does this diary work? Because it's different. It's not like any diary that any of us own.
Right.
How do you conceal yourself in a magical object like that?
How? By magic?
All right. And question answered. Last chapter.
What are you asking?
So like, yes, you do it by magic, but we haven't seen really this kind of magic before, unless you're talking about it in comparison with a mirror, which it kind of has some similarities there too. But the mirror seems like someone created it, and it's just like an existence. This more so seems like it is the essence of Tom Riddle or Lord Voldemort in an object.
Yeah.
Is this something like we haven't seen before? Like, or is this just a commonality in the wizarding world?
So again, like I told you, I compared it immediately to the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're taking the mirror out of the picture, part of me wants to say it's like a common thing, because like you could write into a diary and just have it like disappear, and like those are all of your thoughts hidden inside of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, like you said, you haven't seen that. So it could have been something that only he was able to do, because it was hiding everything that was being put into it. The book the diary is essentially like another person.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was just taking in the information and then giving out information.
Yep.
In a very twisted way, because like they were giving information that Harry wanted.
Yeah.
But then it was like a way of kind of, for lack of better terms, seducing him into the Chamber of Secrets.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
The way he was like twisting it. It was like giving you information, but just enough to know you have to keep going.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah. That's a good answer. I like that. I thought you were gonna say something. Last chapter is chapter 18, which is Dobby's reward. So this is where we get a little bit more information, but give me a summary of this one. Right into the mouth.
Wait, so one more time.
Give me a quick summary of Dobby's reward, the chapter.
So after this, or after all the craziness of the Chamber of Secrets and Harry doing some nice work, and Dumbledore's little bird doing some great things as well,
which is great.
Which is
nice.
Incredible, because I was like, what's going on here? How is this happening? But I was like, Harry can't die. But I was like, wow. I was like, the tears.
He's like, what are the other books about?
Yeah. These tears go crazy.
Harry Potter dies in book 2.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and then Dobby's reward is essentially him getting this reward, right? For like warning Harry and
he gets
trying
his freedom,
to protect him and things like that. So
that was the other thing. Like, there's like the basilisk that pops up. Like, what did you think about everything that was happening in the Chamber of Secrets?
I thought this was the coolest.
Really?
Like, I thought it was so cool how she did all of that. Like Tom Riddle and like organizing the letters.
Yeah.
I thought so creative. And then I also liked like the first book, okay, you get like some action between him and Professor Quirrell, but like I really liked, like I was like picturing like the whole scene in my head happening.
Yeah, I love
Of
it.
like this big snake coming out, and
Yeah.
Harry's just like riding this thing, and then stabs him, and then
It is very visual. It's like an action.
yeah,
Kinda,
it was like really cool to read it and be thinking that in my head. But then, like I said, the last thing I expected was the bird's tears to heal him, and then and yeah, it was just, I think the way that the whole thing was done, like I was just picturing, as I was reading it, I was just picturing everything in my head happening. I love when that happens, because I was like, it makes it so much more realistic to me.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like an action-packed last few chapters. It's very visual.
Yeah.
See it all happening in your head. But Dumbledore, he talks to Harry at the last chapter. So Dobby gets his like little reward, but Dumbledore gives him a little bit of information. And there's this one interesting idea in it that Voldemort gave some of his powers over to Harry on the night that Voldemort killed his parents. What do you think that is?
Wait, what powers?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the being able to speak Parseltongue is
Okay.
one of them.
All right.
Because it's only a Slytherin thing, right?
Yep.
So I think that was obviously one of them. And then I don't know what else there would be. I don't know if I know enough to be like, okay, like Harry has these powers from Voldemort.
Yeah.
Unless I just missed something completely.
No.
But I think definitely the Parseltongue is one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay, so another random question too. Do you think it's like dumb that Dumbledore gave Harry back the diary? Because Harry stabs that, right? He stabs the diary.
Right.
That therefore kills him. But is there any sort of like weird power in that diary still that is going to come
I
back
would be
and haunt him?
skeptical. I would not give
Yeah.
anybody that diary. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I don't know what Dumbledore's... Again, unless Dumbledore knows something we don't know, which very well could be, I wouldn't have given that back to anybody.
So this is what I was referring to before. This line where Dumbledore is like, unless I'm mistaken, he transferred some of his own powers to you the night he gave you that scar. Not something he intended to do, I'm sure. Referencing something in the future.
Yes.
Does Dumbledore know that already? Or is he just inferring like a different... This is just his theory right now.
Ooh, yeah, there's...
Because every time I like go back and read that, I'm like... That is so telling,
well,
but
later,
I don't know if she had that intention when she wrote it.
She did.
Or
I think she definitely
did Dumbledore theoretically know at this point?
I think he's definitely starting to theorize at this point.
Yes, because in one of the later books, he talks about how this is something he's been thinking about
Yeah.
and wondering for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Don't worry, Eric. We'll get there.
Sorry, guys.
How did you like the whole end of this book, though? Like Dobby, did you like Dobby getting free?
No.
Screw Dobby.
Screw Dobby.
I wish Colin Creevy had died.
That was my question.
Y'all are
Was, would
heartless.
Eric have given Dobby a sock?
Definitely not.
No,
Eric also doesn't like feet, so he
I hate
wanted to
feet.
take a
Oh,
sock
feet.
it's a
off.
double whammy.
It does bother me in the movie when you see Harry without a sock on in his shoe. It really bothers me for some reason.
The feeling of being in a shoe without a sock is a
Yeah.
pretty gross feeling, too.
That's what I think skews me out about it.
No, I think to end, like, I think it's, like, I don't have any hard feelings towards Dobby. So I was just like, okay, like, cool, he got his freedom. I think it's great for him because my man had
That's good.
a lot of issues. Yeah. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah, I think the ending of the book was good. Again, I feel like this book the plot's very similar to book one.
Yeah. But you
So,
liked
like,
it more.
I did like it more. But now I'm at the point of where I'm like, okay, is every book going to be the same exact plot?
Yes.
Or is she going to twist it up?
Yep.
So that's why I'm like, that makes me want to keep reading. But at the same time, I love the way things are happening.
Yeah.
And this one was just I feel like the action was so much better. I mean, like the first book, you're getting introduced to everything, right? So I think now that you know a good chunk of people and what things are happening, and now you're in year 2, I think it was really cool to get that perspective. And now it's like, I'm assuming we're going through the years
Year
of
by
school.
year, yeah.
So So I'm excited now to like see what the next year brings, right? So
What do you think it's gonna bring? Harry Potter, and the title of it?
is that the prisoner?
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah. Well, Hagrid's still there, right?
Is Hagrid the prisoner of Azkaban?
No, I don't know.
He's a
but
prisoner of
he's
Azkaban
there.
right now.
So that's why I'm like, okay, like what's gonna happen with
Yeah.
Hagrid?
Well, Hagrid gets let back.
Yeah, it's at the end.
He
of the
did,
At the
right?
end of this, he's
Yeah.
back
Okay.
in it,
Okay. Yeah.
He's like welcomed. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, especially now if you're saying no, the plot's not the same. Then I have zero idea. And after this, honestly, the first two books, or not the first two books, the first two movies, because we mentioned we watched the movies. Like I remembered bits and pieces of that,
Yeah.
but I genuinely do
Don't
not remember
a thing after
a
this?
thing after that, except for what I
Yes.
thought was like
Lovely.
what we mentioned
The ending
on like,
scene, right?
it's like the
Of,
very end.
of the
It's
whole
like
series.
it's like
they're
the
old.
only thing.
And I'm pretty sure it was pretty like, I forget what you said.
It's like they're on top of like a castle, and like everybody's watching
Yeah,
them
that's
too
right.
in the middle.
I feel like there was parts of it that were
Yeah.
true and parts of it that I'm just like, where did he get
Yeah,
that from?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're just making it up in your own head right here.
Yeah, so that's why like, I'm pumped now because like now I genuinely have no idea
Good.
or remember a thing.
It keeps getting better. Everyone in our community makes fun of me for saying this all the time, but this is where it starts to pick up. Book 3 is where it starts to pick up. And after book 3, book 4 is really where it starts to pick up. Book 5 is like rough,
I hate.
but it's great.
Okay.
And then book 6 and 7 are like,
So we've gotten through what we
Perfect.
would say is like
you've gone through the slog. If you can get
Yeah,
the first two
okay.
books are phenomenal, but if you can get through the first two books, the next
gone
ones are going to
through
be
the
better reads.
prologue.
okay.
Huh?
So you've gone through the prologue.
Yeah, you can, yeah, really,
Actually.
you've gone through the prologue pretty much.
Okay.
I've met more people that say book 5 is their favorite book than I have
Yeah.
met not. And I had such a hard time.
And you're
Yeah.
saying it's book 5 is like the
I think it's the best written.
oh really?
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's
Wait,
just-
what were you saying? Book
There's
5?
just
I
stuff in
am-
it that is hard to
Yes.
get through, but
Yeah.
it's written really well.
Like this in this one, Ron's wand is broken, and Mark has a problem with that because it makes him so uncomfortable because it's the whole book. There's issues that happen in book 5 that don't get resolved for a long time, and so it just makes people feel so uncomfortable.
And
We'll get
Harry's at his peak annoying.
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
You hate
But there's a specific reason for why he's at his peak annoying behavior.
puberty.
That's great. Legitimately, that's 100% the real reason why. But
Hey, if she wrote it with the idea of him going through puberty and
it's at that time.
I mean that, but if that was her mindset
Yeah.
of like, yeah, he's gonna be annoying because he's at
She
that
definitely
age.
has a son. Does she have kids?
She has a daughter.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
J.K. Rowling sponsor us.
Sponsor us.
Well, thanks for joining us on this journey of J.K. Rowling. Sponsor us, please. Harry
CC
Potter and the first-time readers.
Cece just farted into the mic.
Yes.
I really hope it
Picked up.
picked
If
it
it
up.
picks it up, I'm gonna boost it real loud.
She gone. Oh, did you edit?
Yeah.
did it,
Just
he
give
did
us
it.
a. There we go. Nice work. Good job, guys.
Good job.
We
Nice
booked
work,
it through
team.
those last few. We're a little
Yeah.
late, but
Did you get enough content?
yeah, that was great.
Wonderful.
And we can do something now where if you want, you can get like halfway through this book and we can like record for like just an hour rather than have to like block these huge time chunks up. So if you have time, if Melissa wants to join on one of these, that would be great. I would love it.
Yeah, let's do
It's
a
another
night that
first
she
time
can
reader.
come next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like a weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask her. She usually comes to church. She's been given access to come, permission to come the last Sunday of every month. So maybe
We could do like after the service or something.
yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out. We gonna figure it out. We still live? Shout out to all my fans. What?
Everybody, it's John's birthday today.
Oof. Oof.
Are we still on?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna end it now though. Everyone just sits and they talk about Harry Potter when we're on. So I'll chat. Bunch of Harry Potter nerds. Later, guys.